Biden. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, showing up in the White House briefing room a short time ago and taking questions from reporters after taking something of a victory lap on the suspension of a port strike and a stronger than expected jobs report.
From the very beginning, we were told time and again that the policies we were pursuing, we put forward weren't going to work, make things worse, including some of the other team are still saying they're going to make things worse. But we've proven them wrong.
254,000 jobs were added in September with upward revisions for the previous 2 months. Former President Trump has highlighted a trend of native-born workers losing jobs and foreign-born workers gaining them. As Israel considers a response to Iran's missile attack earlier this week, President Biden says if it were him, he'd think about other alternatives to striking oil facilities, after previously appearing to suggest he might support those as targets. He also responded to a question about whether Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu might be trying to influence the U.S. election by not agreeing to a ceasefire at this point.
No administration has helped Israel more than I have. None. 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 And I think Bibi should remember that.
But he adds he does not know whether Netanyahu is trying to influence the election. The president did not get a question about criticism of the federal response to Hurricane Helene, not just from former President Trump, but some survivors in hard-hit areas, saying they're not getting help fast enough.
The real heroes of this community are actually the community itself. It takes so long to get papers signed in Washington. We've got boots on the ground here, actually, the neighbors helping neighbors.
He's in Swannanoa, North Carolina. Trump visits that state later today, just arriving first in Georgia. Vice President Kamala Harris goes to North Carolina tomorrow. She's campaigning today in Michigan. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Round 2, mostly sunny, 79 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar is clear of any rain. Tonight's low drops to about 59. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. Democratic candidate for governor Jennifer McCormick says she would push for wage growth initiatives if elected. She says wage growth in Indiana has been among the worst in the country the last 10 years.
That is a direct reflection of 20 years of one-party rule, who don't want to police themselves and who do not want to help Hoosiers. So we've got to get those wages up.
McCormick, Republican Mike Braun, and Libertarian Donald Rainwater all debated on Wish TV last night. Indianapolis police say a series of crimes ended in a crash this morning. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Armed robbery is what cops say 3 teenagers were into when they picked up the car they were traveling in, thanks to license plate readers that are mounted on stoplights across the city. When police from Speedway in Indianapolis got behind this car, the chase was on. It ended in a crash on the northwest side of the city, 38th and Georgetown to be exact. Police say they had used drones and canines to catch up with these kids. All of them were taken to the hospital, and they face criminal charges. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Holding off on judgment until all facts are known is how State Representative Ed Delaney believes sexual harassment claims against Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett's office should be handled.
I'm a lawyer. I believe in due process. I don't believe that the first thought when the mayor gets in the soup, and he is in the soup, and he put himself in the soup, the first thought shouldn't be the death penalty. The first thought should be, let's look at it.
Talking to Indy Politics, and Indianapolis City County Council committees looking into the mayor's role and what changes can be made. Police, pay attention to this local official. Jake McDaniel reports.
Andy Emmert is being investigated. They put him on leave, though the town's administration is not involved. Police were silent about the reason for their search of municipal buildings and Emmert's residence, and they kept the 700 people who live in the city waiting. This small town is working with police as the investigation is ongoing. Jake McDaniel, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
My brother never checks on Dad. Or my sister won't make time to take Mom to the doctor. Are these things you've heard yourself say? This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I have a caregiving tip for you. Stay tuned.
Cardon & Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Expressing anger or resentment toward unsupportive siblings can cause unmendable rifts in relationships. Don't try to control everyone else. You can only control yourself. The success of your caregiving journey does not rest on others. So enjoy the time with your loved one. This is your special time with them. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
And with traffic on the 5s at 3:05, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, northeast to side, eastbound 465, crash clear at I-69, still stopped from Westfield Boulevard to Allisonville Road. Inbound 65, stop and go, 38th Kessler to Meridian Penn. Crash downtown, northbound 6570 around Fletcher, that's blocking the left lane, causing traffic stopped. Back to Holt Road. Eastbound 465, a rolled semi caused a closure earlier at I-65. The interstate has reopened. Still stop traffic from Harding Street almost to I-65. This also jammed up northbound 65. That is stop and go Southport Road up to I-465. Traffic sponsored by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half's recruiting personalizes, utilize their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This Friday evening, skies are going to be partly cloudy with temperatures dropping to the mid-50s overnight. A light breeze out of the northeast at 5-10 miles per hour. Saturday also looks like a couple clouds will be around with a high temperature around 82 in the afternoon. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
What's happening to these hurricane victims is disgusting. I'm old enough to remember when George W. Bush got crucified for the way he handled Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, yeah. And some of that was warranted.
Absolutely.
By the way.
100% right. But the same animosity should be happening to this administration. There are people that are running out of food, running out of water. FEMA has been a disaster, and the government has been a disaster. It's the Hammer and Nigel show. I'm Jason Hammer. Big Nige is here.
Hello.
And we played this clip yesterday, but I think it warrants playing back because it's so infuriating. You've got Alejandro Mayorkas.
Alejandro!
From Homeland Security basically saying, look, we don't have any money for the rest of hurricane season.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Remember the millions of illegal immigrants we imported from other countries, and then we gave them debit cards and free housing and free health care? That's where all the money went.
That's what's infuriating. That's the thing that makes me hate these people. Hate is a strong word. But my God, the way they're treating these poor people. I hate Alejandro Mayorkas. I hate Pete Buttigieg. I hate Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Because again, just 3 months ago, that same Mayorkas that we just played you the audio from was talking about how awesome and how prepared his department was for hurricane season.
FEMA is tremendously prepared. This is what we do. This is what they do. And the key here, Rebecca, is also to make sure that the communities who are potentially impacted are prepared as well. And it's not just hurricanes and wildfires, also extreme heat, which certainly some parts of the United States are already experiencing.
Do you hear that, Nige? Just 3 months ago, they could handle hurricanes, they could handle wildfires, they could handle heat. But then a hurricane came through and they're broke all of a sudden. Well, where the hell did the money go? I think we all know where the money went.
By the way, the other hurricane he was talking about is Hurricane Kirk, which is, it looks like it's off to the Atlantic and looks like it's going to go out into the ocean, but there could also be some residual effects and heavy waves and heavy storms for Florida as well.
And FEMA and all of the good time party boys from the government just dropping the ball again. The same way they screwed up the fires in Hawaii, they're screwing this up too. Take a listen to this. Mayor Pete Buttigieg, he'll always be Mayor Pete, but he's the transportation secretary, announcing that private drones and citizens who have access to helicopters or private planes, they're not allowed to go help these people stranded in North Carolina. They're restricting the airspace.
There's also some safety issues that come up. For example, temporary flight restrictions to make sure that the airspace is clear for any flights or drone activity that might be involved in helping to allow those emergency responders to do their job.
Yeah, whatever. They just don't want the public to see what a disastrous response the government has led.
Bingo.
That's what it is. That's what you're listening to right there.
You're about a month away from a major presidential election, and the last thing they want you to see is their incompetence and the fact they don't have any money to help these people, real Americans. But hot damn, we can help every single illegal. We can help Ukraine. We can help Israel. We can help Taiwan. It wouldn't be that hard to call a special session, switch some budget money around, transfer some military money to FEMA, and help these people out. But they're not going to do that. It's ridiculous. So Boss Hogsett, bringing it back here to Indy Mayor Joe Boss Hogsett, he's launching a big third-party platform to help with sexual harassment claims, Nige.
Oh, great. Okay.
Kind of feels like this is a forgotten story, but it shouldn't be.
Well, that was the plan all along.
There's this major sexual harassment scandal in the office of the mayor in Indianapolis. His old chief of staff, Thomas Carl Cook, Boss Hogsett himself, a number of others. You've had multiple accusers. Some of them have put their names on it. Some of them haven't. They've came out and said Joe knew what was going on and didn't do anything. Hell, if anything, he allowed Thomas Carl Cook, his old chief of staff, to kind of do a victory lap, a farewell tour, pushing him out of office and then bringing him back in when he needed his help. And it's disgusting. The two groups, mind you, that have been tasked with investigating Joe Hogsett, totally bought and paid for. So the private law firm that did an investigation into Joe Hogsett, Thomas Carl Cook, the private investigators. Remember when Joe Hogsett was talking about these people?
Ultimately, we did engage a private law firm to conduct the investigation.
Can you say what the law firm was?
It was Taft.
All right, we all heard that, right?
Taft.
Taft did the private investigation. Follow the money. Taft, huge donors of Joe Hogsett. Just last year alone, Hogsett got $100,000 from Taft.
I'm sorry, did you say $100?
No, that would be $100,000.
Oh, okay.
And previously, old Diamond Joe, old Boss Hogsett, appointed one of the higher-ranked officials over at Taft to some cush job in the city.
What do you know?
So follow the money. The other investigation into Joe Hogsett is from the City County Council. Now, again, these are two separate investigations. You've got the bought and paid for Taft people and the bought and paid for City County Council people. 4 out of the 5 Democrats that are part of the investigative team on the council. I'll give you one guess who's given them money over the course of their career in the council, Nige.
Allison Lemons.
Wrong. Boss Hogsett and Thomas Carl Cook. Both of them. Big donations to some of these council members. So do you really think you're going to get any of these people that are going to bite the hand that feeds them?
I see what you're getting at. Everybody totally understands what you're saying. It's a no-brainer.
They've got this new hotline set up. It's a 24/7 hotline where you can report sexual harassment that's taking place inside the mayor's office. So here to give us his thoughts on this new hotline and how it's going to work, Ladies and gentlemen, AI, Joe Hogsett.
So we are happy to announce a new way of reporting sexual harassment in my office. Moving forward, anyone who sees sexual harassment will be encouraged to go to a new third-party anonymous platform and a state-of-the-art 24/7 hotline to report harassment. Now, for the sake of transparency, the operators handling the hotline will be myself and Thomas Carl Cook. If you feel uncomfortable in my office, maybe we can invite you over and have a drink with you to calm your nerves. Maybe you can wear that tank top I bought you for Christmas. And if it makes you feel safer, perhaps you can spend the night. I have a fully stocked bar we can both enjoy. And if that is not enough, I know a good rehab guy that can help you out as well. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Again, I will not stand for sexual harassment. I lay down for it. AI boss Hogsett out.
So there you go. AI Joe Hogsett.
That's what you could expect when you call the hotline there.
Laying out the expectations.
Okay.
All right. It's a very special date on the calendar. Allison, just turn this music off right now. Matt Bear is in the traffic center. Matt, today's date is October 4th, which means today is 10/4. So, are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking, Matt?
Breaker.
A little Smokey in the Bandit traffic
I see where you're
from
going
the
with
traffic
this.
beast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Matt Bear.
Breaker Smokey report, westbound 465, sitting in a bit of a muddy diaper from Michigan Road to Ditch Road at Buford Tea and Company in the slow lane until Monday morning. Eastbound 465, some bitch grinding asphalt at Keystone Avenue to I-69. Reckon got the right lane, dragging wagon sweeping up. Downtown, northbound 6570, big hit in the Hammer Lane at Washington Street. BJ, get your chow pill. We're stopped all the way to Hope. What in the hell is this world coming to? South side slower than a double nickel from Harding Street past I-65 because a wiggle wagon rolled around lunchtime. Emptied that supper bucket early because we're dealing with a complete lack of respect for the law.
Yeah!
I do want to let you know eastbound 465 on the south side is still closed at 65. That ramp from southbound 65 to eastbound is open. Northbound to eastbound will open up here shortly, I've been told. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores, your local Staples Stores. Hot deals and super low prices throughout the store and everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples. I'm Smokey Bear. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Matt Bear, ladies and gentlemen, a
that
round
was
of applause.
Masterful right there.
Dude, you got to come in studio after that. You got to hang out with us next. Come on in here.
I've
Matt.
got my way, you got it.
Matt Bear's on his way to the studio. It's 10/4, good buddy. 79 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
What real retirement planning is all about? Tune in to Expedition Retirement with Greg Ayler. Sunday mornings at 7 on WIBC.
When it comes to your furnace, when it comes to your air conditioning, you know you're in good hands when it's an American Standard dealer. You know you're in good hands when it's American Standard equipment. In fact, I had B&W install an American Standard air conditioner outside my house a couple of summers ago. Still humming right along. Here's Hammer to tell you a little bit more about B&W.
Our friends at B&W Plumbing, HVAC and Electrical in Speedway. Fall means chilly nights with winter right around the corner. Make sure that furnace is safe and ready to keep you warm. B&W's dedicated team will ensure your heating system is in top shape. And when winter returns, your home's going to be cozy. Go to bplusw.com/radio to schedule your appointment today. That's bplusw.com/radio or just call 317-243-3581. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
Grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot.
It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. The best dealers in the region will be at the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Experience the captivating musical journey with Celtic Thunder in their brand new show, Odyssey. Join Damien McGinty, Emmett Cahill, Neil Byrne, and Ronan Scollard as they explore a fusion of traditional and contemporary Celtic music. A mix of great new songs and beloved fan favorites. In Odyssey, Celtic Thunder continues their musical evolution.
Thursday, October 10th at Old National Center. Get your seats now at livenation.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
So earlier, we asked the best damn traffic reporter in Indianapolis, Matt Baer, in honor of today's date, 10-4, good buddy, to do a good old-fashioned Smokey and the Bandit version of a traffic report. And he knocked it out of the park.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. Matt, here are some of the replies we got on the YouTube chat. Best traffic report ever. Hell yeah, love that movie. Matt is awesome. I'm going to drive around on 465 listening to that on repeat.
Thank you, everybody. Where else are you going to hear a construction zone described as a muddy diaper? So, that's what we led off with, too.
How you doing, man?
I am fantastic. My mom texted me. She said, that was a blankety blank great job.
Dude, I was thinking of you. I was thinking of you yesterday, and I was so mad. Every time I get into a traffic situation, I think of you, and it pisses me off because I don't listen. Like, I don't read some of the information you put out there is so great and it's plentiful, but I don't retain it. And so I was pulling out of Exercise Inc. on Michigan Road in Zionsville/Carmel, headed to 465 on Michigan Road going south. And guess what? I couldn't get on. The on-ramp was closed off.
Yeah,
and I thought, damn it, Matt Baer.
Right now, you have about a 1 in 3 chance of actually using the ramp you want.
Yeah.
That's not empirical by any means, but that's just kind of an estimate right now from me.
Whenever somebody gets stuck in traffic, it's Matt's fault. Like when the weather sucks, it's Marcus Bailey and Tara's fault.
Right. When you think of Matt Baer, think of anxiety. Let your emotions roll, get angry. No, I do that all the time, man. I live downtown, so we always have a run.
Sure.
Always have some kind of closures. Right now, it's the open sewer season, and trust me, I like to drive with my windows rolled down. But
of all the seasons, might be my least favorite.
No, this is like this is worse than the dead of winter. I'm telling you, it's all right. I'm exaggerating a little bit, and I don't ever want to knock downtown because I absolutely love it here. But we have a lot of infrastructure work going on right now, and you can be like, well, they didn't get that one right the first time. It's just
like loving Indianapolis, and really, I do. I live here. My family's here.
Mine too.
I love Indianapolis, but it's like being a family member. You can yell at your kids. You can yell at your brother or sister, but you still love them. But sometimes you got to give them crap. And that's kind of where I'm at with the city, Matt.
Yeah.
There are ways that we can do things better, and we're not doing it from a traffic perspective, from a safety perspective, and it pisses both of us off.
It does, and it's tough love. That's all we're doing here. It's not like we're dogging Indianapolis. I could never dog Indianapolis. I've lived here now. I've lived here longer than any place else on earth, which blows me away. Downtown Indianapolis, and I'm blessed to do so. But still, this construction construction season has a life of its own, and there's not just a season anymore. It almost feels year-round anymore, especially with these major infrastructure projects we have on the northeast side. And it is what it is. You know, that's,
Right.
that's what's happening. And we have a big one coming up on the west side this weekend, by the way.
What do we got?
Well, we've talked about it the last couple of weekends. It was washed out both times. It's 465 both directions, lane reductions. Around Sam Jones Expressway, and this comes with a host of entrance ramp closures.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, the northbound side restrictions will be in place until this coming Wednesday, which means rush hour. And the southbound restrictions will be in place until the 14th of October. So we're going to have to deal with this for a couple of weeks, especially in the southbound side. All the details, all the ramps closing, the reopenings, all that is at WIBC Traffic, pinned to the top right now if you want to check it out. We made some maps so you can check it out and plan accordingly, because last time we did this and actually got to work it was pretty bad over there. And it causes, traffic on the city streets as well, man. It's just everywhere,
Nigel and I were talking to somebody from the Salvation Army the other day about trying to raise some money, how Hoosiers could help these poor hurricane victims in the southeast part of the United States. Did I see you doing something with the Salvation Army the other day too?
Yeah, it was awesome. I went out to Salvation Army Harbor Light. It's on Tibbs. It's a full recovery center. They do the detox, and me being a recovering alcoholic, this really spoke to my heart. They do the detox, they do the residency, and they're even starting to structure for post-residency type of work there. So, I mean, Harbor Light is awesome. They had this catastrophic thing happen where the roof caved in some parts, and they've rebuilt it. It looks beautiful. The colors, they just put so much love and care. And this particular last Wednesday, I went out there, and Carson Wentz's Kingdom Crumb was out there. It's a food truck with a chef, and they were just giving meals to all the detox patients and anybody who came and wanted a meal. And I thought this is the greatest thing in the world.
And you know what? Despite what some local sports writers may say, one of the best dudes you will ever meet is Carson Wentz.
I remember that, and I still hold that grudge.
you have this.
They talk trash about him during COVID for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he has this ministry in Kingdom Crumb is one of the branches of this ministry. And not only are you getting a meal, but it's prepared by a chef. And I'm thinking to myself, man, all the times I was in detox, alcohol detox for me or drug detox, whatever you might be going through, that meal would have been something special. And the smiles, man, the line of people, the smiles from ear to ear stretching back, they lined up, they were feeling good. And right then and there, you need something to feel good about.
Sure.
You do. I mean, because especially if you continue relapsing, the detoxification gets more painful and harder and harder. So for these guys to go out there and just get something that just smelled the most amazing food in the entire world, and then to be able to eat it, that's something special. And I compliment Harbor Light and their ministry and the recovery service there, because they do, I almost said the H word, which is not in conjunction with what we're talking about.
They do a really good job.
They do a really good job with their recovery, and there's just nothing but love on Tibbs Avenue, Harbor Light. I absolutely adore that.
Awesome.
The podcast that Matt hosts along with Ryan Hedrick from our news room is called Supporting Sobriety, and you can find it anywhere you get podcasts. It can help so many different people, those going through issues with substance abuse and the family members of those who are dealing with that in their family. What clip are we hearing today?
We're going to be talking about recovery in a sense. Well, let's go ahead and play that, Allison, if we could, please.
And I like to do the dishes, because what it used to be is after family meals, I would get done. I'd go find a recliner and just sit there like in an alcoholic haze, because you have that uncomfortable feeling where you just ate a full meal, but you were drunk as hell before that meal, and you're just miserable. So I go just sit in a recliner. Everybody else would work around me, just do the thing. I mean, it was sad. It was alcoholic behavior. Okay, take care of me. It was always take care of me. And the point we're making here is just service work is infectious.
Okay, it
spreads from making the coffee in the meetings, making sure each chair has a 12 and 12 book.
Okay.
Service.
Yeah.
Serving one another is a key part.
Yeah, that's what we have to do. We stay sober by giving our sobriety away, and that's what this entire episode is about, the service work. And it's infectious, like I said there, and it spreads to not just the recovery work, but everybody else gets to benefit from that. I mean, I love doing the dishes. I love doing the dishes at home. I feel like such a weird guy now, because I love cleaning. I love keeping myself clean with hygiene. All this is part of recovery. And if I see a random cart in the grocery store parking lot,
it's going back in its space, right?
It's going back where it belongs. It's like OCD. I have to
You can tell a lot about an a-hole that just leaves a cart in the middle of a grocery store parking lot in the middle of a space.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, my wife, Crystal, just sent me a message. I'm stopped on Raymond Street. F you, Matt Bear.
Yeah.
And then Tara Hastings of Wish TV sent me a text. The bad weather is Marcus's fault. The good weather is Wonder Woman's fault.
Okay, there it is.
That makes perfect sense to me, and I cause anxiety, so we're all on the same page here.
Supporting sobriety. Download it anywhere you get podcasts. Matt Bear, you're a rock star. Thank you.
Love you guys. God bless.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Here's what I want you to do when you get home. Test drive your windows. Open each one. Does it open correctly? Does it stay open? Is it hard to open? Do you see a lot of condensation or leaks? Or are the windows moldy? Are they drafty? Are they letting heat or air through? This is where Window Nation comes into play. I have Window Nation windows. They are the best. And with Window Nation's 96% customer satisfaction rating, they're the highest in their industry.
Oh, baby, this is a deal. This is a deal. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. And if that's not enough, pay nothing. No interest for 2 full years. Get the best windows on the market from Window Nation. I know this because I'm a customer. Your energy bill will go down. Your house will look better. 866-90-NATION. At least call and talk to somebody. Ask a few questions. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his trillion-dollar spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Several teenagers arrested. Just a few clouds over the circle, about 79 degrees downtown. Radar's clear. Temps drop just below 60 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:32. Indianapolis police say a series of crimes ended in a crash this morning. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Armed robbery is what cops say 3 teenagers were into when they picked up the car they were traveling in, thanks to license plate readers that are mounted on stoplights across the city. When police from Speedway in Indianapolis got behind this car, the chase was on. It ended in a crash on the northwest side of the city, 38th and Georgetown to be exact. Police say they had used drones and canines to catch up with these kids. All of them were taken to the hospital, and they face criminal charges. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
An Indianapolis City County Council committee is investigating sexual harassment claims against Mayor Joe Hogsett's office. State Representative Ed Delaney stresses the importance of allowing the committee to do its due diligence.
Because who's going to want to get in politics if the first time you trip up over some trivia, you're in trouble, okay? So.
Talking with Indy Politics, Delaney says he doesn't think Hogsett should be fired. Vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance back to campaigning. He's in Georgia today.
Well, Kamala Harris, you've been vice president for 3.5 years. Day one was 1,400 days ago. What the hell have you been doing with all that authority the American people gave you? Get to work and stop talking about what you're going to do Go ahead and do it.
Vice President Kamala Harris has been campaigning in Michigan today. That election next month. Police pay attention to this local official. Here's Jake McDaniel.
Andy Emmert is being investigated. They put him on leave, though the town's administration is not involved. Police were silent about the reason for their search of municipal buildings in Emmert's residence, and they kept the 700 people who live in the city waiting. This small town is working with police as the investigation is ongoing. Jake McDaniel, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:34.
Is joint pain, soreness, and achiness getting in the way of your best life? Football legend Emmitt Smith refuses to back down to pain. That's why he's a huge advocate for QC Kinetics and their natural approach to getting you relief.
Look, we get one trip around, so I wouldn't ever let pain stop me from hanging out with my race team, traveling with my family, or golfing with my friends.
Emmitt's got it right. And QC Kinetics uses regenerative medicine to relieve that never-ending pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. And the best news, there's nothing foreign being introduced into your body. Just your own body's natural healing properties. No surgery or no downtime.
If pain's holding you back, maybe it's tennis, pickleball, running, hiking, or spending time with special people in your life, what are you waiting for? This is precious time. Get out there and get over to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
With traffic at 3:35, how's it going, Matt Bear?
Harrison still shut down on the south side. It's eastbound 465, the main line. The main part of 465 closed at I-65 with traffic stopped back to Harding Street. Do avoid if you can. The exit ramp from southbound 65 to eastbound 465 has reopened. They're working on northbound 65 to eastbound 465, and I have been told once that is done, they will be able to reopen eastbound 465 in earnest. Looking at eastbound 70, that's jammed up right now. Holt Road into the South Split for a 17-minute delay. Inbound 65, stop-and-go traffic from the White River to Meridian Penn. North side, westbound 465, stop-and-go from Meridian to 865 because of construction that should be done Monday morning. And eastbound 465, stop-and-go from Westfield Boulevard to Allisonville Road. Traffic sponsored by B-Window. This month only at bwindow.com. Receive $400 off per window and $250 per patio or entry door plus 2.99% financing. B-Window, proud to be employee-owned. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thank you, Matt. And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This Friday evening, skies are going to be partly cloudy with temperatures dropping to the mid-50s overnight. A light breeze out of the northeast at 5-10 miles per hour. Saturday also looks like a couple clouds will be around with a high temperature around 82 in the afternoon. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
1, 2, 3, let's go! You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Yeah, my name is Nigel. Jason Hammer over there with a special guest on the hotline.
Tommy Pigott is the Strategic Communications Director for the RNC. You can see some of his work on the popular handle at RNC Research. Tommy, a number of places we can start here, but I think the biggest story in this country right now are these hurricane victims and the complete lack of a response from the government right now. I'm curious as to what you think.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing right now is an administration in the Harris-Biden administration that not only failed to respond adequately now, but failed to prepare in advance ahead of time. I mean, you have Kamala Harris, who was skipping hurricane preparedness briefings this year, who was in San Francisco fundraising when this storm hit. Thank goodness we have President Trump going out there and drawing attention to this. President Trump going out there talking about Starlink, talking about getting the help that these people deserve. And I think it's another example of why we need President Trump in the White House, because President Trump showed up for the American people. Under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, we have this example, which is really just heartbreaking videos that we're seeing. But we also have a pattern from this administration, from East Palestine to Maui, of this administration putting the American people last and not showing up when they're needed.
The thing that really just burns me up more than anything else is when I see that video clip of Alejandro Mayorkas, I think he was on Fox, talking about how they don't have the money to help out toward the end of hurricane season here. Just 3 months ago, he was doing a victory lap on all the money they had, and they had all this money to help illegal immigrants crossing the border. But now he's got the testicular fortitude to go on television and say we don't have any money to help these people? I'm just so angry about that.
Absolutely outrageous. The fact that they have spent $1 billion over the last 2 fiscal years, over $600 million just this fiscal year alone. The fact they've spent that amount of money on illegal immigrants in this country, people that should not have been in this country in the first place if they had secured the border, it's absolutely outrageous. And now they're saying they have no money left over for Americans. It's complete misplaced priorities from this administration. It's even worse than that. There's hardly a word for it that they're spending so much of taxpayer dollars on illegal immigrants and saying there's nothing left for Americans in need. The two fundamental responses, or two of them, that a government has is to secure the border and respond in an event of disaster, mobilize resources to help people. And this administration has failed on both fronts. Instead, they are putting immigrants first and they're putting the American people last. And it's another example, yet again, of why we need President Trump back in the White House to get our government's priorities back on the right track.
And Tommy, just a very basic question here, going back to the hurricane. It seems like FEMA or government, Buttigieg, whoever you want to say, they're hindering normal, average, everyday citizens from helping their own. Why, any speculation as to why that is even a thing? Like I said, I thought that Buttigieg was banning the drones and banning flights in and out of certain areas is because they didn't want the public to see what a disaster the government has been. I just don't understand it. Do you?
I don't understand it either. It's incredibly hard to understand, and we're hearing more and more stories of that. Elon Musk posted about that just recently. We're hearing stories of people that were trying to either get boats or helicopters in there to help rescue people, even some people that had recently completed a successful rescue that were told to stop. So I don't know what's going on with this. It's hard to explain, especially given the fact that these people need as much help as they can get because the government under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is letting them down. So I don't know what's going on. It doesn't make any sense at all, especially given the lack of response. And so it's a shame that this is even a question that we have to speculate on this. This should not be a question. The government should have been prepared. They should be there responding quickly. Joe Biden shouldn't have been on the beach. Kamala Harris shouldn't have been in San Francisco. It shouldn't have taken President Trump to go and draw attention to this crisis for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to finally pay attention, which, if you notice, they only did after President Trump went down to the area to draw attention to this crisis. It shouldn't even be a question why they're blocking these rescue efforts, because these rescue efforts should be happening already. So it's a shame that it's beyond a shame. It's an outrage that this is happening and that this is even a question right now.
Tommy Pigott from the RNC is our guest here. Tommy, this past week we had the vice presidential debate. Even CNN admits that the winner of that was clear, and it was J.D. Vance. What's been the response the RNC has seen since that, what appears to be very successful vice presidential debate?
Well, I think we've seen the building of that momentum. I think what people saw in Tim Walz as a reflection of Kamala Harris, complete incompetence, complete inability to explain what they stand for, because Tim Walz and Kamala Harris stand for the farthest left. They are the farthest left presidential ticket in the history of American politics. So I think the American people saw that contrast. They saw Tim Walz, who couldn't explain basic things like why he told the incredibly odd lie that he went to China during the Tiananmen Square massacre, but he actually was in Nebraska. I don't know why he felt the need to lie about that, but there are so many things that Tim Walz lies about, and the contrast between Tim Walz and J.D. Vance was clear. And again, it's a reflection of the ticket, President Trump's vision to get America back on the right track, to save this country, to make a country where Americans are put first, that we have American workers getting a leg up, versus Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who couldn't answer a basic question, have been hiding as much as they possibly can, and have an extremely radical and dangerously liberal record.
I'm just wondering your thoughts on, like, the part that really, it made me laugh. It should make me cry, but if I don't cry, if I don't laugh, I'll cry, is when Tim Walz was saying, well, if Donald Trump, and I'm paraphrasing, if Donald Trump is elected, then he's going to put his enemies in jail. He's going to try to silence the opposition. And I'm like, and even J.D. Vance looked over at him kind of with a slow look, and he wasn't able to really respond because of the format. But I'm thinking, that's what your party's trying to do actively right now against Donald Trump.
I mean, that's exactly right. For all of these doomsday predictions coming from the Democrats, they forget that he already was in office, and we already see what he's going to do. And we see that President Trump created the best economy in the history of our country. We had the securest border in the history of our country, and we had historic peace agreements in the Middle East. And then talking about democracy, which the Democrats have the audacity to call themselves the party of democracy, after throwing out 14 million of their own primary votes, weaponizing institutions against President Trump, against pro-life Americans, against parents at school board meetings, memos being released about the FBI targeting Catholics, the support of censorship from Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, explicit censorship, which Tim Walz doubled down on during that debate, which is the foundational or one of the foundational rights of our entire democracy, which is the right to speak freely, freedom of speech. So, I mean, they're clearly hypocrites, and they're beyond hypocrites. They're actually proposing policies that would undermine our democracy. And I think it all goes back to this idea that Democrats are not what they claim to be. They're trying to sell the American people a bill of goods, but the American people aren't going to fall for it. And I think the debate was really J.D. Vance deconstructing all of their arguments on issue after issue and showing why President Trump is needed back in the White House.
Tommy Pickett of the RNC with us. Tommy, the jobs report came out today, and on paper, this looks like a big win for the current administration. So good that they brought the old bones of Joe Biden out to the press corps today, and he actually spoke to some reporters. Now, a lot of it was gibberish, but at least he was there. But there's always some different ways to look at the job report. Is this report that came out today everything the Democrats are making it out to be?
It's not at all. I mean, if you just even look one level down from the headline number, and we'll see if that gets revised, they always seem to get revised down these days, is that there are hundreds of thousands of fewer native-born Americans working than a year ago. There are hundreds of thousands of fewer private sector jobs than a year ago. There are 37,000 fewer manufacturing jobs than a year ago. We're seeing the job creation that's happening go to illegal immigrants. We're seeing the job creation that is happening going to non-citizens and being fueled by government jobs, which is not spending anything. It's not creating anything. A strong economy has strong private sector growth. So even one level down from this report really paints a devastating picture of native-born Americans losing their jobs, of private sector industries losing jobs, of manufacturing losing jobs. And if we truly want a president that's going to make it so we have a manufacturing boom in this country, a president who's going to get fair trade deals, who's going to make sure real wages are rising again, we need President Trump back in office, because President Trump has the agenda to get it done. He has the agenda, the vision. He's put it forward repeatedly, the plan to make America the best place to do business, and by extension, making sure that other countries are afraid of losing their jobs to America, not the other way around.
And Tommy, I know it's difficult to do. We got about 60 seconds left, but the significance of Donald Trump going back to Butler, Pennsylvania this weekend for a rally where only a few months ago there was an attempt made on his life.
Well, I think the significance is hard to overstate. I think it shows that President Trump is the man that's going to fight for this country. As he said when he stood up after he was struck by that bullet, fight, fight, fight. He's going to fight for this country. He's going to fight for the American dream. He's going to bring this country together. As he said, he almost sees it as an obligation to go back to finish that speech. And I think it's who he is. He's a fighter for this country. He's unafraid. He's going to bring this country together. And with him back in the White House, we're going to have a golden age in this country, unlike what we've seen before. He has the agenda, the policies, the vision, and the leadership to get it done.
Tommy Pickett, Strategic Communications Director for the RNC. See some of his work at RNC Research. Tommy, awesome stuff. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, caller number 9 right now, 239-9393. Your chance to win tickets to go see Billy Joel and Sting. Lucas Oil Stadium, Saturday, February 8th. Tickets are on sale right now. Caller number 9. We got a fun game we're going to play. 239-9393.
Make plans right now to be at the World Food Championships. Tickets are on sale now. WorldFoodChampionships.com. November 8th through the 12th. Over 300 cooking teams, 1,200 chefs, nearly 40 countries, battling in 12 unique food categories for a portion of that $450,000 prize pool.
Dude, I am excited for this. Food, and more food. Fire, barbecue, all the things that make life worth living. Tickets are on sale right now. WorldFoodChampionships.com. It's at the State Fairgrounds. Buy your tickets right now.
Mecum Auctions returns to Indianapolis October 3rd to the 5th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience with 1,000 vehicles up for auction. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, Mecum Auctions is for you. Register to bid and buy spectator tickets now at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
Hi, this is John Schmitz. Are you frustrated with slow or no response from your elected officials? Your U.S. Congressman is one of those politicians that takes your vote for granted. Let's send a message to all politicians. If you don't meet us out in the neighborhoods, we will vote you out. You deserve better. I'll be there for you. I'm committed to work to preserve your freedoms. A vote for Schmitz will ensure less government interference and more control over your own life. I'm ready to work tirelessly for you. Visit johnschmitzforcongress.com and see how your vote can make a real difference. I'm John Schmitz. I approve this message, paid for by Schmitz for Indiana.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
My brother never checks on Dad, or my sister won't make time to take Mom to the doctor. Are these things you've heard yourself say? This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I have a caregiving tip for you. Stay tuned.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Expressing anger or resentment toward unsupportive siblings can cause unmendable rifts in relationships. Don't try to control everyone else. You can only control yourself. The success of your caregiving journey does not rest on others. So enjoy the time with your loved one. This is your special time with them. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
Join WIBC this Saturday for the Home and Garden Show live from Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan at 114th and Allisonville Road from 9 to 1. Celebrate fall and book a ride on the Sullivan Express train to Pumpkintown with Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan and 93 WIBC.
Matt Bear, what's going on?
Southside eastbound 465 still closed at I-65, but the ramps to eastbound 465 from 65 have reopened, expecting the main line to reopen soon. Right now, traffic is stopped from 65 back to Harding Street. Eastbound 70 jammed up. Holt Road to the south split, 23-minute delay. Inbound 65 stop and go from the White River down to Meridian Penn. Northbound 465 on the northwest side, crash between 79th and 86th and stop and go traffic from 79th up to 865. A serious crash. This is on West Street north of Raymond. It's right underneath the bridge with the railroad tracks. A car into a barricade at a high rate of speed. Please avoid the area if you can. Traffic sponsored by B Window. This month only at bwindow.com. Receive $400 off per window and $250 per patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing. B Window, proud to be employee owned. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
80 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, and it's time to play Piano Man or Vince McMahon.
And now, time to play Piano Man. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Or Vince McMahon.
My testicles are the size of grapefruits.
Piano Man or Vince McMahon on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
All right, Chris was caller number 9. You okay over there, Nige?
Yeah, that just hit me a certain way. I don't know why.
Chris, do you like Billy Joel?
Yes, I do.
Good. Billy Joel and Sting. I mean, Sting doing all the hits from the Police and the solo career. Lucas Oil Stadium, February 8th. We're going to give you a fact about somebody. It will either be a fact about Billy Joel, the Piano Man, or longtime WWE chairman of the board, Vince McMahon. You get 2 out of 3, and we're going to give you the tickets, okay?
Okay, I think.
All right. Number 1, Piano Man or Vince McMahon has children named Shane and Stephanie, who at one point were also in the same business.
Wow. Gene. Let's say McMahon.
Yes, there you go. Okay. If that was just a guess, you got it right.
It was a guess.
All right. Just got to get one of these next two, okay? Then we'll give you the tickets. Piano Man or Vince McMahon had his head shaved by Donald Trump.
I'm going to have to go with McMahon on that one.
That's it. There we go.
Very nice.
The Battle of the Billionaires at the WWE a number of years ago. Chris, my man, if those were just guesses, you pulled it out nicely. Congratulations. You've got the tickets. Stay on the line, cool. And Allison will take care of you.
Chris pulled it out. Great. That's wonderful. I don't know. What is that clip with him saying his testicles are like grapefruits?
Just one of the many things Vince McMahon has said in the ring.
I understand. It just hit me the wrong way or the right way just now.
Oh, there are way worse things he said on television.
I understand.
That's like one of the cleaner clips we have of Vince McMahon. Bobby Burak of Outkick joins us next.
$16,500. $16,500.
Is that how much money you're about to give me, Casey?
That's how much money it could cost the average American couple every single year if the Social Security Trust Fund runs out of money.
Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security.
Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We know and trust Bill, and you can too. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. This free analysis could help you wring every nickel out of your benefits that are rightfully yours.
Call 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock is here to elevate your protection game. Using the same simple password across all your accounts, that's risky. While updating your passwords to be more unique is a good start, true peace of mind comes with LifeLock. LifeLock doesn't just alert you to suspicious activity, but monitors for more uses of your personal info and will fix identity theft issues that arise, guaranteed, or your money back. Secure your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Can you hear me?
So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, why one state rep is telling you not to jump to any conclusions. Republican candidate for Governor Mike Braun is in favor of school choice. And police are looking into a utility superintendent in Hamilton County. Those stories and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
President Biden has some doubts about the upcoming election. Lisa Brady, Fox News, taking questions from reporters. He says he's concerned about election-related violence.
The president has no concern the presidential vote will be free and fair, but
I don't know whether it will be peaceful. The things that Trump has said and the things that he said last time out when he didn't like the outcome of the election were very dangerous.
President Biden says he is concerned former President Trump and his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, won't accept the results. Speaking from the White House briefing room for the first time in his presidency, President Biden also said he was not sure if Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was holding up a ceasefire deal to influence the presidential election.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The former president is in Georgia alongside Republican Governor Brian Kemp moments ago, 4 years after they had a falling out over 2020 election results. Today, focusing on hurricane recovery efforts.
Our hearts break for the more than 200 American families who have lost their lives already.
The former president noting the hundreds that remain missing. He heads next to hard-hit North Carolina for a first-hand look at the devastation there. Vice President Kamala Harris visits North Carolina tomorrow. Today, holding a rally in Michigan.
I will always put the middle class and working families first. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from. I will never forget where I come from.
She says Trump's record is a disaster for working people and calls him an existential threat to the labor movement. President Biden says today's jobs report is proof his agenda is working. 254,000 jobs created in September, the unemployment rate dipping to 4.1%. And the street rallies, the Dow up 341 points at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Innocent until proven guilty. 81 degrees with just a few clouds over the monument. Your radar's clear. 59 is about where your low is going to settle tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. You may have heard about a committee investigating sexual harassment claims in Indianapolis. One Hoosier political leader says you need to let the process unfold. Ryan Hedrick reports.
State Representative Ed Delaney ran against Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett nearly a decade ago, but he still wants to show some grace toward his political rival in the sexual harassment investigation involving Hogsett's office.
Because who's going to want to get in politics if the first time you trip up over some trivia, you're in trouble?
Speaking to Indy Politics, Delaney says he wants to wait for a committee looking into these claims to finish its work before he makes any judgments. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Even with school voucher money, Republican candidate for Governor Mike Braun says parents need to be allowed to send their kids to whatever school they wish, be it public or private.
We are a state that has been on the leading edge to where we're putting the parent as the main stakeholder in his or her kid's education.
In a debate with Wish TV, Democrat Jennifer McCormick said public money should only be going to public schools. Police are investigating the utility superintendent and building commissioner in Hamilton County. Jake McDaniel explains why.
That guy is Andy Emmert. He has been placed on leave over a state police investigation while the government is not the target. State police searched buildings of the town and Emmert's home, but they did not provide details of the investigation, nor did they make any arrests. The town of 700 people, which is about 50 miles north of Indianapolis, is cooperating with the authorities and waiting for more information. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Ever heard of Barkeep Vodka? It's made here in Indiana. One of the partners is Hughes Culinary, where Chris Clifford is the Vice President of Business Development. Hughes operates several Indianapolis area restaurants. That includes St. Elmo Steakhouse. As for how their vodka is made,
all Indiana corn and distilled here in Indiana, and then we have a patented filtration process we use that makes it the smoothest vodka on the market.
Clifford says it's being sold at lots of retailers both in and outside of the state. Today's National Vodka Day. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Here is Jiffy Lube of Indiana's COO, Lonnie Hinkle.
Lots of Hoosiers belong to unlimited car wash programs because they want their car to look great. At Jiffy Lube, we're here to help you make sure your car runs great. So to help take care of your car inside and out, Jiffy Lube is offering everyone who belongs to a monthly car wash program a $20 discount and a free tire rotation from now through the end of the year. Just point out your car wash sticker and we'll do the rest. My Jiffy Lube teams are maintenance experts. Our computer system provides all of the manufacturer's maintenance recommendations for every make and model of vehicle, so we know exactly what every car needs to operate at its best. Jiffy Lube is your trusted one-stop shop for all that your car needs to run well for many years. You never need an appointment, and we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores. So stop in on your way to the car wash, save $20, plus get a free tire rotation just for belonging to a monthly car wash program.
Jiffy Lube. Nobody does it better.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison southbound 69 coming down from Fishers at 106th Street. Just got this crash blocking 2 right lanes. There will be delays here right now. A slowdown through the crash site and then stop and go from 106th Street down to 82nd. Guys, stay away from this on the south side. It's West Street north of Raymond Street. Crash under a bridge with the railroad tracks. A car into a barricade, and right now southbound west is backed up big time. Northbound West Street also not moving. Best to avoid the entire area. On the south side, still waiting for eastbound 465 at I-65 to reopen. That is a crash cleanup in progress. The ramps from northbound, southbound 65 to eastbound 465 have reopened. The interstate itself, eastbound 465, has not. We will give you word right here and at WIBC Traffic when that happens. In the meantime, traffic is jammed back to Harding Street, then another delay on eastbound stretching from I-69 back to 70. Traffic sponsored by Honda of Fishers. Fall brings falling leaves and falling prices. Visit Honda of Fishers now for great deals on new and used Hondas. Visit them in person or online at HondaOfFishers.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thank you, Matt. And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This Friday evening, skies are going to be partly cloudy with temperatures dropping to the mid-50s overnight. A light breeze out of the northeast at 5-10 miles per hour. Saturday also looks like a couple clouds will be around with a high temperature around 82 in the afternoon. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it! My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a special guest on the hotline.
Bobby Burak is a writer at Outkick.com, one of our favorites. If you're not following him on social media, do yourself a favor and do so. Bobby, here we are like a month until the presidential election. We had a debate between the vice presidential candidates this past week. We've got all types of hell breaking loose between wars and hurricanes. Just kind of assess, where do you think this country is at right now, 1 month until what some feel is the biggest election in our lifetimes?
Yeah, so I just had a lengthy post on X. I'm working on this column right now about where the election stands. Who's the favorite? What has changed since August? I want to talk about a scenario that I find really interesting here. So Trump's campaign got a bit sloppy once Kamala was anointed the nominee by Pelosi and Obama. That momentum has started to wane around September 1st. Then she had that speech about the economy, and the polls and betting market then shifted toward Donald Trump. Then the debate happened, and Trump wasn't very good. And a lot of people don't like saying it, but he wasn't. Then the polls really shifted in favor of Kamala. we thought. However, at Fox News, Will Kane, who hosts a live show, he's a good friend of mine, referenced these dial tests that actually said Trump won the debate. There's a real argument now that us in the media, including me, and I'm not saying you guys necessarily, and the pollsters maybe overreacted to that debate performance. Because quietly, Trump has gained a lot of momentum in the keyest of battleground states, and that is Pennsylvania. As of today, the betting market has him up 6 points. And people are asking me, well, why is the betting market inconsistent with the public polling? I think the answer is simple. Because like in sports, the odds makers have inside sources. In this case, the most likely scenario is they are privy to internal polling. And I've done some reporting over the past 24 hours, and people in Washington, particularly on the GOP side, are also telling me that Trump is polling internally very strong in Pennsylvania. Well, I've said for months now, the winner of Pennsylvania will win this election. So we are now 32 days out, and you try to combine all of what I said because it goes in a lot of different directions. I think right here today, Donald Trump has about a 55 to 60% chance of winning the election. And I was in the camp about a month ago saying I think Harris is the favorite. I don't think so anymore.
And the numbers you just talked about were amazing. Like it really kind of makes you think, especially me as a broadcaster, maybe we did overreact. And the other thing that makes me say that is because I believe that it's been easier for mainstream personalities in the media. For example, Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick comes out and endorses Donald Trump. What does this say in general about the support he is garnering from mainstream outlets and personalities and celebrities?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm going to respond to that the same way I did when Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala.
Okay.
I think it's interesting, but it doesn't really matter. I actually think what's happening right now is we're seeing a major divide between men and women. Women are very in favor of Kamala, men more so in favor of Donald Trump. And I think that's why we're seeing these polls favor Kamala, because these polls are often decided in battleground states by that independent category. Well, according to people I'm talking to, they're oversampling independent women, which are skewing these public polls in favor of Kamala. But I think here is what the headline should be more than anything else, and that is fracking. The Financial Times had a study that came out Monday talking about how people in Pennsylvania do not trust Kamala Harris on the topic of fracking. They trust Trump. I think that's why you're seeing her campaign flip-flop some. So I think while the fun stories are the endorsement, the VP debate, I think a lot of it is coming down to men versus women in battleground states. I think fracking might just be what puts Trump over her in Pennsylvania, which in return could very well win him the general election.
Bobby, it's interesting you bring up the betting market here because just this past week, we had that appeals court say we can start betting on politics in this country. Now, the Supreme Court may step in. We don't know yet. We're probably still a little bit away from actually having that available, but the appeals court said we can start betting on politics. And as a degenerate gambler myself, I think this is going to be really interesting because why would you look at a poll from the New York Times or the Washington Post or even Fox News when you can look at the betting markets? Because I feel like these odds makers, they're going to give you the more fair breakdown of what people are really feeling heading into specific races.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the polls we see are mostly public polling. Here's the problem. Public polling is not necessarily a tool to measure the perception of voters as much as it is a way to shape the narrative. Like, for example, to convince voters, hey, no need to vote for Donald Trump in this state. He's going to lose. Public polling has always been a bit about gamesmanship, but odds, people are just trying to make money. They don't really try to fool you into thinking something's not real. They just want to make a lot of money. And I think the key here is, again, they have inside sources. So like in sports, here's a good example. Jordan Love, the Packers quarterback, there was all these rumors and reports that he was going to return week 3. But then you looked at the line, and the Packers were underdogs by 7.5 points. Well, those odds makers obviously knew something, which is no, he's not actually going to play. So when I see the odds so much different than the polls, I tend to think, again, it's them relying on internal polling, which I think is still pretty accurate.
One more thing before we let you go, Bobby Burek for Outkick.com. One of the things we saw this week is that the WNBA announced the voting results of their Rookie of the Year. Caitlin Clark wins. Overall, she failed to receive one vote, I believe, Hammer? Is that right?
It was not unanimous. Angel Reese got one vote for Rookie of the Year.
What your overall assessment of Caitlin Clark in her WNBA season? Like I saw, and not that I put really any stock anymore in what I see from Jamel Hill, but she says, like, so what? The playoff numbers are down, that Caitlin Clark isn't in it anymore. It'd be the same way with Steph Curry and LeBron James. You're just kind of your thoughts on Caitlin Clark and her first season with the WNBA.
It exposed that there is this mean girls, cool kids club that pretty much states that black women are very territorial about the league and do not want a white girl infringing on their league. That's pretty accurate to say at this point. I thought it was funny. Bomani Jones from ESPN, who's kind of like the male Jamel Hill, he's like, I'm not really sure who the racists are, but there's a lot of racists in the WNBA. Well, I responded, well, if you want to know who the racists are, it's the people who are saying racist things about Caitlin Clark and her fans, which are mostly the black players and some of their fans. So, like, it's been a really sensitive subject because people are afraid of getting canceled and called racist, but it's been pretty clear from the start that Caitlin Clark's whiteness has really bothered a lot of people, and I think that's disgusting. I think it's racist, and I think people should call it out.
If Caitlin Clark were somebody that was an over-the-top Kamala Harris supporter, and maybe she is. I mean, she liked some Taylor Swift post where Taylor endorsed Kamala, but let's just say she was somebody that was in your face. You got to vote for Kamala, pushing her views all over the place, a big lib activist. Do you think the backlash would have been as intense?
No, I think it's a good point. So I actually had a column about this in June when, like, that Kennedy Carter person attacked her. It's not necessarily that they dislike Caitlin Clark because she's white. It's that she's not guilty for being white. We've seen a lot of, like, these woke groups get behind white people, but they also want to browbeat them in and becoming, like, social justice activists. The fact that Caitlin Clark is apolitical for the most part, that's what really grinds their gears. We saw the USA Today had a column, I believe, by Nancy Armour, what a buffoon she is, saying that Caitlin Clark is – what was on the wording was it was that she doesn't that she's a moral coward for not putting her name behind a presidential candidate. So a lot of these people in the media and pop culture, they feel obligated to let everybody know that they are progressive. So when somebody with a big platform does not do it, they arguably despise those people more than the ones that come out and say they're conservative. Because when you just define that you're conservative, they can begin to, come after you, ambush you, harass you, and send all their minions towards you. But when you leave it a bit ambiguous, that really has them all up in arms. So until Caitlin Clark comes out and says, I'm a white chick for Kamala, this hate's going to continue.
This is why we love having Bobby Burek of Outkick on. He will say the things that others are afraid to talk about. Bobby, if those want to see more of your work, how can they find you?
They can find me on X. They can find me on Outkick. And real quick, and I know I always do this to you guys. We're always up against the clock, but I got to throw it out there anyway. There's been a big discussion about who's the modern face of a dream man of America now, because Kamala Harris' husband apparently is not this trope for the perfect man. You guys know where I'm going. I think if you put Dan Dockage over on these posters, a lot of women in 2024 are going to say, that's the guy I want. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Bobby, I was under the impression teenage girls all over this country already had his poster hanging up in their bedrooms.
It might. It might. Here's the thing. Every once in a while when I go on his show, I get these comments that you can't see. They're set to private. I think it's a lot of females just talking about how dreamy Dockage is with his tan, his bald head, his biceps and stuff. So it's a real thing.
And
yeah,
Bobby, the other thing is, I know Dan would never have kissed his wife with their masks on back in the day.
The way Doug did with Kamala.
He might not have. Although Dan did tell me something that when he was younger and he wanted to make out with a girl, he would go over all obstacles. So if Dan's choice was not make out or make out with a mask on, I think he'd take the mask. That's just what he's telling me.
That's a different scenario.
Right. Okay. We call those variables. Yes. Bobby Burak of Outkick. Awesome stuff, man. Thank you.
All right, guys, stay in touch.
Matt Bear standing by in the WIBC Traffic Center.
All right, Southside eastbound 465 has reopened at I-65, and we have a jailbreak going on. Front of the line from 31 has cleared out. Traffic is now stop and go from Emerson to Arlington on eastbound because the traffic has to go somewhere. And we're still stop and go on eastbound 465 Southside from 70 to the White River, and again from Harding over to 31. Looking at inbound 69 at 106th Street. Crash blocking two right lanes, stopping traffic to 116th Street. North side, westbound 465 stop and go from Meridian to 865. That's because of construction blocking the right lane. 12 additional minutes to get through that. Northbound 465 stop and go before 86th Street up to 865. And Boone County southbound 65 stop and go before County Road 550 south to the Dog Leg. We have a serious crash on the south side. This is West Street north of Raymond. Injury crash underneath the bridge with railroad tracks, a car into a barricade. Please avoid West Street's a mess. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for expert advice, thousands of in-stock appliance options, fast delivery, and professional installation. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand Appliance showroom. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
80 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Is this anything? Next.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. The best dealers in the region will be at the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Indiana Pathways for Aging helps Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over get support at no additional cost to live life their way.
Mom's Parkinson's is progressing, and Pathways provides in-home support so she can be with family every day.
Pathways coordinates Medicaid and Medicare services. I'm getting help with meals, personal care, and transportation.
One day, I might choose a nursing home, but today, I have options with Pathways.
To learn more, eligible members call 87 Pathway 4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye. Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and Shocks and Struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is This anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Nige, is this anything? A heroic police officer in Minnesota put his own life on the line to save an 18-year-old who was driving a runaway vehicle that wouldn't stop accelerating.
Wow.
Here's the teenager, Sam, along with Deputy Johnson and Trooper Groover.
Johnson.
Talking about stopping this runaway accelerating vehicle.
Hey, this thing is accelerating. My foot is not on the gas.
Is the accelerator stuck down?
I was going a lot faster than we thought it was. I started to go, I'm going to die tonight.
Yeah, I'll try to get in front of you and add a little extra brake power.
Probably 130. I know squad tops out around 140, so probably somewhere in that range.
Yes, run into the back of his car.
I don't think I did anything special. Really, I think what it comes down.
Awesome. Yeah, this is something the cop is a hero. The kid, I would have been relieving myself in my pants. I remember that old truck I had, that Avalanche?
Yes.
Had about 200,000 miles. I finally got rid of it. I could have probably drove it for another 100,000. I put it in cruise control once. I hardly ever use cruise control at all, but I remember right before I sold it, maybe a month or two, and it wasn't slowing down. Like I put it at 60 and oh boy, it's going 65, it's going 70, something stuck. And I didn't have my foot on the gas, but there is a way you can you can excel it by using your thumb and pushing a button. And finally I put it in neutral. I shoved the thing in neutral and it slowed down and it kind of reset everything. So I'm not saying that's anywhere near 130 miles an hour, but watching this footage right now is pretty harrowing. Yeah, that was a runaway car in the purest sense of the term. He was out of control, and the cop put his own life on the line and hit his brakes right in front of him and saved him.
That's awesome.
I mean,
love that.
Incredible.
I know it's October.
Yes.
But we need to talk about Christmas, Nige.
No.
Is this anything? Hallmark has a reality show coming out later this month.
Could have just stopped at Hallmark.
Where they're trying to find a guy to be their next movie star for their Christmas movies. Here's a quick promo of the upcoming reality show.
I think I'll be Mr. Christmas because I bring a lot of good energy to the table. Maybe pull off a few flannels every once in a while.
Besides my amazing smile, there's the perseverance, the resilience.
Charm, somebody who cares, somebody who loves their family.
It takes a little bit of love and kindness.
Drive, character, strong jawline.
I will definitely be Mr. Christmas because I can sing, dance, and act. So here I am.
I'm ready for this step. I'm committed, I'm passionate.
Full of love, confident, happy.
I embody a lot of the ideals that Hallmark really has.
I want to be able to bring the magic that Christmas brings to everybody in their home.
Pull off a few flannels every once in a while. Did I hear that right? Here's what this tells me. Hallmark is looking for somebody to star in their awful Christmas TV shows. They can't find anybody, so they're having a contest. They're having a reality show to hire people to probably star at a lesser rate.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it that way. Because there's always going to be some actor that's desperate for work that will do these things.
Nobody wants to do them, except, and I'm telling you, this is not a parody, Hammer. Just a reminder, Hallmark is making a Kansas City Chiefs-themed Christmas movie called Holiday Touchdown, a Chiefs Love Story, starring tight-end Travis Kelce's mom.
Saturday, November 30th.
No.
For the first time ever, Hallmark and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Whoa.
Leave it all on the field.
How about those?
Chiefs. Holiday Touchdown, a Chiefs love story. All new Saturday, November 30th. Part of Countdown to Christmas. Only on Hallmark Channel.
Make you want to vomit? That's real. That's not a fake parody thing.
But you know what? There are a lot of people who are ready to start watching Christmas stuff. If my wife had, her way, because she's outvoted in our house right now, she'd have the tree up. She would have the lights up. She would have the Christmas blow-ups. She would have Mariah Carey's music playing from one room to the next. She is the crazy Christmas lady. That's who she is. She's ready for these Hallmark movies. But there's one thing I want to get your opinion on here.
Okay.
The people we heard in that promo from Hallmark, we're going to play it again here in a second. I want you to think if any of these people that you're about to hear from have ever been to a Golden Corral?
I think I'll be Mr. Christmas because I bring a lot of good energy to the table. Maybe pull off a few flannels every once in a while.
Besides my amazing smile, there's the perseverance, the resilience.
Charm, somebody who cares, somebody who loves their family. It takes a little bit of love and kindness.
Drive, character, strong jawline.
I will definitely be Mr. Christmas because I can sing, dance, and act. So here I am.
I'm ready for this step.
Have any of those guys ever taken one step into a Golden Corral?
I don't know, the guy that says something about flannel?
If you have to brag about the flannel that you're wearing, you're not a real flannel guy. Those people, I want nothing to do with.
You know what? Who could star in a Hallmark special? Phil Sanchez.
He could, and he joins us next.
JMV here. The big fall sale at Miss M's Home and Garden is still happening. Save 20 to 50% off. Trees and shrubs, 50% off. Herbaceous perennials, 30% off. In-stock patio furniture and more. Not only is the fall sale happening, but they have a great selection of local grown mums, pumpkins, and all your decorating needs. Take advantage of great planting weather and save right now at Miss M's. That is Miss M's on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
One night, one stage, Billy Joel and Sting. Saturday, February 8th. Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis.
Every breath you take.
Get tickets now at Ticketmaster. Saturday, February 8th. Don't miss Billy Joel and Sting.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She thinks you should be making more money. 80 degrees with a few clouds floating over the monument. No rain to worry about on radar. 59 is tonight's low. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:31. Democratic candidate for Governor Jennifer McCormick says she would push for wage growth initiatives if elected. She says the state's been lacking in that category over the last decade compared to the rest of the country.
That is a direct reflection of 20 years of one-party rule, who don't want to police themselves and who do not want to help Hoosiers. So we've got to get those wages up.
McCormick, Republican Mike Brown, Libertarian Donald Rainwater all debated on Wish TV last night. An Indianapolis City County Council committee is investigating sexual harassment claims against Mayor Joe Hogstad's office. State Representative Ed Delaney stresses the importance of allowing that committee to do its due diligence.
Because who's going to want to get in politics if the first time you trip up over some trivia, you're in trouble, okay? So,
talking with Indy Politics, Delaney says he doesn't think Hogsett should be fired. While Israel's thinking about how to respond to Iran's missile strike from earlier in the week, President Joe Biden is cautioning the country to leave any oil facilities alone.
The Israelis have not concluded what they're going to do in terms of a strike. That's under discussion. I think if I were in their shoes, I'd be thinking about other alternatives than striking oil fields.
Iran's supreme leader has said his nation will not back down, saying their attack from earlier in the week was completely legal and within their rights. Vice President Kamala Harris says she's working to encourage collective bargaining for unions.
In any negotiation, you want the outcome to be fair, right? We all want fairness.
The International Longshoremen's Association Union was able to recently reach a deal with the United States Maritime Alliance to increase wages for dock workers who were threatening and did go on strike for a few days this week. They still don't have that exact contract worked out yet. This new deal, though, gives them until January 15th to put pen to paper on something everybody agrees with. And the Colts running back Jonathan Taylor has now been ruled out of Sunday's game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The team made the announcement this afternoon. Second-year quarterback Anthony Richardson's status for game day, he has yet to be ruled out. And a positive end of the market to end the week. The Dow rose by 341 to 42,352. The Nasdaq was up by 219 to 18,137. And the S&P 500 finished up by 51 to 5,751. Traffic and weather in 1 minute. It's 4:32.
Lynn just hates painting in the fall, so she called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint, it's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came, and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time, we had the roof done as well.
Formulated for our specific climate here in Indy and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty.
We truly believe in this product.
Now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers. Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
With traffic at 4:35, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison crash. Southbound 69 at 106th Street, blocking two right lanes, stopping traffic past State Road 37. Long delays there. Eastbound 465 jammed up from Westfield Boulevard all the way down to Fall Creek. Northwest side, northbound 465, stop and go 79th to 2865. Westbound 465, stop and go traffic, Meridian past Michigan Road. That's a work zone, blocking the right lane until early Monday morning. South side, crash clear at the ramp eastbound 465 to Kentucky Avenue. Looking at eastbound 70, stop and go traffic from Holt Road into the South Split. Inbound 65 grinding from MLK, even before that down to Meridian Penn. And a crash on the south side, West Street north of Raymond Street at the railroad tracks under the bridge. A car into a barricade. Avoid west, please. Traffic sponsored by B Window. This month only at bwindow.com. Receive $400 off per window and $250 per patio or entry door plus 2.99% financing. B Window, proud to be employee owned. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This Friday evening, skies are going to be partly cloudy with temperatures dropping to the mid-50s overnight. A light breeze out of the northeast at 5-10 miles per hour. Saturday also looks like a couple clouds will be around with a high temperature around 82 in the afternoon. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a special guest on the hotline.
Earlier today, Nige, I'm at home. I'm getting ready for the show. I'm getting dressed. I'm making some food. And I keep getting text after text from Phil Sanchez going, please, let me be on your show today.
Wait a minute.
I can't wait to be on your show today.
I was on that same text thread, Phil. I'm not sure that's the way it went. I don't know about you. What do you think? What do you say?
Yeah. I don't think that's the way it played out, but we'll go with that. We'll give that to you. I'm in a good mood today, boys. How are you?
Good.
Real good.
Phil Sanchez,
it's
of course.
Friday, my Mets won. I'm going on our fall break here in a minute. I'm good to go.
We'll get to your Mets here in just a moment, but something almost as exciting as that Pete Alonso home run in the ninth last night, Phil, was watching you moderate that gubernatorial debate. It was a master class, my friend. Well done.
Well, I appreciate it. A little bit of a stretch, but I definitely appreciate it. We had a good time. I think we did a good job. I think not only myself, but my co-host, Dakari Turner. I hope we did a good job last night. But I walked away pretty confident with what we did. I think we asked the right questions. I think having Donald Rainwater in there was different from the others that you've probably seen. So it was nice to have that dynamic as well. I think it added something to it last night.
And I like the order of the questions. Like, I don't know if that's something you came up with, but we didn't have to sit through a bunch of ridiculous crap to get to the important stuff. You guys asked important stuff right out of the gate.
Yeah, and, that's something we work on. I wish I could take credit for it. I can't. Obviously, I'm a part of the process, but, we have these conversations. Obviously, we've been planning this for quite some time. My news director, Brady Gibson, who you guys know pretty well, he's kind of the mastermind behind all of this. Prior to becoming our news director, he was our assistant news director, executive producer. He also produced the politics show that I do every week. So he's got his hands in on this. And, we sit down, we go through questions, what we think is most important. We rehearse for about a week in advance, a lot of rehearsal. Not so much from our perspective, but there's a lot to it behind the scenes that folks at home don't really see. And, all you see is what happens on TV, but there's so much that goes on behind it, from our production crew to our producers. And without them, we can't put on a good show, a good debate like we did last night. So there's just a lot to it. It's a lot of work, but I'm glad with the final outcome. I think we served Indianapolis well last night.
And Phil, how do you feel about? I mean, some of these national debates with say the vice president and her running mate Walz against J.D. Vance, the senator from Ohio. There was some criticism there of those moderators fact-checking. We're getting, it seems to be a buzzword now when talking about these debates. How do you feel as somebody that has a lot of work to do? You're maintaining 3 political parties and individuals there. You're trying to maybe use, I don't know, corral might be the right word. Yeah. How do you stay on top of that without letting yourself get criticized for something like a quote-unquote fact check when that should be probably the role of the people that are up there on stage?
How long is your show? Because I can do an entire day on this. I have a lot of opinions about this, but I will say this: this is not about me. This is not about Dakari. This is about the candidates, and I feel like sometimes these debates become more about the moderators, and that is never what I want. I think. When I was on maybe last year, Hammer had said to me that I'm a baseball guy, and he said the umpire never wants it to be about him. Some of them do, but usually that's not the case. And I agree. This is not about us. So I don't want to be. And who am I to say what's right, what's wrong? Obviously, this is very subjective. A lot of this stuff. You can play with numbers, you can play with facts. So, I asked the question, let them go at it, and, we can do the fact check stuff later on. But on the fly, that makes it about you as the moderator, and that's not my job, in my opinion.
Phil Sanchez of Wish TV is our guest. He was one of the moderators last night for the second gubernatorial debate. Donald Rainwater was involved in this one. Phil, for those who may have missed it last night, anything stick out to you? Anything surprise you? Anybody get upset or ticked off?
Yeah, I think that we had a couple of good moments. For the most part, it was a civil conversation. It was nice to have a healthy conversation about the issues. Going back to what you guys said with the planning, right out of the gate, we asked, I think, a really good question, which was about property tax. It's something that impacts every person in the state, or most of the people in the state, something people want to hear about. And for people who maybe didn't watch, we asked all of the candidates if they plan on cutting or capping property taxes, and for them to raise their hands. They each raised their hand, and then we went on and asked them what their plans were. I think that was a really good moment. Things got a little bit feisty, not a lot, but a little bit. There was one moment where Donald Rainwater had said something about, I believe one of the questions was about abortion, and he had said that she hates men, and she snapped back. And I think if you had to give him truth serum, he would probably say he wished he didn't say that. Jennifer McCormick, she snapped back at him, and rightly so. I think if he probably could have done it again, he would have reworded that. But other than that, I think it was a pretty civil debate. And I think, in between, during commercial breaks, everybody was cordial, and afterwards everyone shook hands. And I think it was productive.
Do any of their handlers come up to you during the commercial breaks and try to get you to bring up some certain topic or something like that? Is there any lobbying going on before or even during these debates?
There are rules that we can only have one. They're only allowed one person in the studio, each candidate. So, and they were cool with us. They didn't come up to us at all. And you guys know me pretty well. I'm not listening to anyone. So
right.
you can tell me all you want. I'm doing my job, and so it's just that doesn't happen. And that is talked about well in advance. We have rules. We put out the rules. We talk to each campaign, and we say, hey, this is the way it's going to be, and this is the way we're going to run it, and they followed the rules. To their credit, they did a good job. Everybody was really cool last night. I think we had a good time.
The pride of New York is Phil Sanchez. What part of New York did you grow up in again?
I grew up in Queens.
Queens.
Yeah. About 10 minutes away from where Citi Field is, yeah.
So, Mr. Mets fan here, I got a little piece of audio for you, Phil. This is from the New York Mets radio network.
Here's the pitch. Swing on a fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Freelick back at the wall. He jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career. Pumps his fist as he rounds second. It's a 3-run homer. He's given the Mets a 3-2 lead. They all pour out of the dugout. Alonso on his way to home plate. They're waiting for him.
So where were you, Phil Sanchez, when Pete Alonso hit that bomb last night?
Wow, so that's awesome. That's shout out to Howie Rose. He's the play-by-play guy, a long time for the Mets. He used to do. I grew up listening to Howie, and it's I'm happy for him because he's a huge diehard Mets fan too, and I believe he's about 7 years old, and he has gone on record and said he's not stopping until he sees another World Series. So I could feel that in that call. Fantastic call by him. I thought the game was over, and it was right before the 10 o'clock news, and I was getting ready. It was literally like 10 minutes before, and I was I was putting on makeup, boys. And I heard Adam Pinsker go. He said, he's in the newsroom, and he's like, "No way!" And I was like, "Oh," and I came running back in. I was like, "What happened?" I had turned off the feed already because I thought it was done. So, and then they went on and won, and we were in the first block of news when I found out, and I was giddy. That was pretty cool. I often say I don't miss New York a lot. I miss my friends and the few family members that I still have back there, but I certainly miss it when my Mets are doing well, because there's something about being around, you guys know how it is about being around your fellow fans, your fellow people. So,
right.
This is good stuff.
Well, not a lot of Mets fans in Central Indy, but for the few that are, along with Cub fans like myself, Reds fans like my dad, we can all get together and say, screw the Brewers. So congratulations, Phil.
There you go. And hey, speaking of the Reds, Terry Francona, what a hire.
That's a good hire. That is a really, really good hire. Meanwhile, the Cubs, their owners act like they're the Pittsburgh Pirates, but that's a conversation for another day. Phil Sanchez.
Show on that too, right?
You working today?
I am. I'm heading in now. Like I said, one last day before I take a little break here next week. Fall vacay. We're staying home. We're doing a staycay, which
nice.
Which I always like, and so it's going to be fun.
Great job last night. Again, I love the way you had control of it. The important stuff was right out of the gate. You guys knocked it out of the park. Tell the entire team over there at Wish, well done.
Will do. Thanks, boys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings did such an incredible job putting a fresh, new, glossy, gritty coat over my garage floor. Made it look like something brand new. They did such a wonderful job. I want them to come do that in my furnace room in my basement as well, because my new Galaxy Concrete garage floor is out of this world. It's 4 times as strong. They don't use epoxy. They use polyurea. That's the new standard when we're talking about garage coatings or anything concrete, from a concrete area, pool to basement, pool deck, anything like that. Call Galaxy Concrete to get your garage coating now. See pictures, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or give them a call, 751-9070.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $69 a month for 24 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 10/27/24. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay. New 300 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his $1 trillion spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
We need 37 people to like the YouTube feed so we can get to 100.
That's not very many.
All we need is 37. So if you're listening right now, do us a solid. Go to YouTube. Look for WIBC. We're streaming the show live. Just one camera because Rob Kendall broke the other one. But we need 37 people. That's all, because we have to get to 100. Help a couple brothers out. Matt Bear, what's going on with the roads?
Southbound 69 crash clear, 106th Street still jammed up back to 126. But the front of the line starting to clear out coming down from Fishers. Looking at the northeast side, Lawrence, southbound 465 before Fall Creek. That is a stall blocking the left lane, causing stop traffic back to Westfield Boulevard. A couple of delays merged there, and we have a hell of a delay now. Looking at downtown South Split, crash on eastbound 70 going to southbound 65. The ramp is open, partially blocked. Stop and go traffic back to Emerson Avenue. And a crash cleanup continues on the south side. It's West Street north of Raymond, underneath the railroad track bridge. A car into a barricade. Avoid West Street. It's a disaster. Traffic sponsored by B Window. This month only at bwindow.com. Receive $400 off per window and $250 per patio or entry door. Plus 2.99% financing. B Window, proud to be employee owned. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Beautiful night for some high school football tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I know Beech Grove's got their homecoming game tonight, so if you're going out there, just be careful. Don't do anything stupid and end up on television tonight, because On Patrol Live is still embedded with the Beech Grove Police Department.
Yes.
80 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Now, for those who are not going to a football game or a movie or anything tonight, Nige, maybe you're staying in and having some cocktails. Maybe you're looking for a reason to celebrate.
Okay.
How about the fact that today is National Vodka Day?
Oh, I heard John Herrick, WIBC news director, in his story about this earlier today from the WIBC newsroom.
National Vodka Day.
Yeah, he was at Barkeep Vodka. We had the guys from Barkeep in
Yeah.
from St. Elmo.
Yeah. So
It's an
we're going to
Indiana brand.
celebrate great moments in vodka history.
Okay.
This is a concoction that the producers of Family Guy created. It's a new product. It mixes beer and vodka.
Do you like beer but can't get drunk from beer? Then try new vodka beer. The can says beer, but inside is 12 ounces of carbonated vodka. And the best part is, your wife will never know.
Honey, I'm so proud of you, cutting down to 1 beer a night.
Take off your underwear. She don't know. Vodka beer.
Oh, yes, she does.
Oh, yes, she does.
Oh, trust me. Yes, she does.
Now, we have our own line of tequila coming out soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have an update on that sooner rather than later. But AI Joe Hogsett back once again to celebrate National Vodka Day.
Look, when it comes to the upcoming Hammer and Nigel show Tequila, I've been put in a very rough position. On one hand, I hate Hammer and Nigel. But on the other hand, I love bottles of liquor. I mean, I really, 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 really love bottles of liquor.
Really.
The last thing I want is for Hammer and Nigel to make a bunch of money on this. So I've decided to come out with my own bottle of liquor. Coming soon is Boss Hogsett Vodka. Boss Hogsett Vodka will be a little different than most of vodkas because it's going to be incredibly strong. It takes an awful lot to get me hammered, so this has 24 times the strength of a regular bottle of vodka. It's the perfect bottle of vodka for any occasion. Maybe you're dealing with a sexual harassment scandal in your office. Maybe you couldn't get anybody to hire you.
Okay.
Or perhaps you've got an upcoming date at a rehab facility. Rest assured, Boss Hogsett Vodka will give you the kick and confidence you need to get through the day. Even if your wife leaves you, don't sweat it. Boss Hogsett Vodka will give you the buzz you need, or you won't even realize she's gone. Boss Hogsett Vodka. It's a riot.
What a great tagline. What a great tagline.
It's a riot.
Get it? See what he did there? Because he wasn't here for the riots. All right, coming up next, the Attorney General for the great state of Indiana, Todd Rokita, will join us. We're going to talk about some dirty money in politics, and I want to get more information on executing bad guys. That conversation coming up next.
$16,500. $16,500.
Is that how much money you're about to give me, Casey?
That's how much money it could cost the average American couple every single year if the Social Security Trust Fund runs out of money.
Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security.
Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We know and trust Bill, and you can too. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. This free analysis could help you wring every nickel out of your benefits that are rightfully yours.
Call 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Mecum Auctions returns to Indianapolis October 3rd to the 5th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Join us for the fun, fast-paced, high-energy Mecum experience with 1,000 vehicles up for auction. For avid collectors, first-time buyers, and enthusiasts of all ages, Mecum Auctions is for you. Register to bid and buy spectator tickets now at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock is here to elevate your protection game. Using the same simple password across all your accounts, that's risky. While updating your passwords to be more unique is a good start, true peace of mind comes with LifeLock. LifeLock doesn't just alert you to suspicious activity, but monitors for more uses of your personal info and will fix identity theft issues that arise, guaranteed, or your money back. Secure your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
When it's time to renovate, it's time to call Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com, because it's about the process. It's about dealing with professionals who are with you every step of the way, communicating how things work. The best craftsmen and professionals who have been doing kitchens and bathrooms in Indianapolis for 2 decades. Talk to Booher Remodeling today about how they work and why it will work for you and your new kitchen. Call 317-852-5546, 852-5546, or online at Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com.
Denny Smith here. The big fall sale at Sundown Gardens is still happening. Save 20 to 50% off trees and shrubs, 50% off herbaceous perennials and pottery. Take advantage of great fall planting weather and save 20 to 50% on trees now at Sundown Gardens. The nursery's full of great selections and the greenhouse is bursting with great local grown mums, pumpkins, and all your needs for fall decorating. Sundown Gardens is located at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, why an Indiana politician says you shouldn't jump to conclusions about the mayor's office. School choice, a topic of discussion during last night's gubernatorial debate, and why one woman's glasses may or may not have been a problem in a courtroom. That's all coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
He's confident the elections will be free and fair. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. But President Biden also says he does not know if they'll be peaceful.
I noticed that the vice presidential Republican candidate did not say he'd accept the outcome of the election. They haven't even accepted the outcome of the last election. So I'm concerned about what they're going to do.
President Biden says former President Trump said very dangerous things after the 2020 election.
I don't know anything about what he said. I only can hope that it's going to be free and fair. And I think in this state it will be. And I hope in every state it will be. And I think we're going to do very well. But right now we're focused on this.
Answering a reporter's question, Trump did not directly address the concern about potential violence. He was speaking in Georgia after a briefing on hurricane recovery efforts and saying he's focused on lives, not votes. He heads next to North Carolina and remains critical of the federal response, arguing millions spent helping illegal immigrants could have been used for storm relief. Some storm survivors say the response is too slow. White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre.
We have been working around the clock. The president directed his team very early on to work around the clock to make sure that the states that were affected, the states that he's visited and the vice president has visited over the past couple of days, got everything that they need.
She says more resources are beginning to reach the hardest hit areas. Hurricane Helene is now blamed for at least 230 deaths. Vice President Kamala Harris calls the former president an existential threat to the labor movement.
Donald Trump's track record is a disaster for working people. And he's trying to gaslight people all over our country.
She's holding 2 events in Michigan today before visiting North Carolina tomorrow as she and Trump continue to attack each other's economic records. Trump says inflation has been a disaster, rejecting today's jobs report as evidence of an improving economy. 254,000 jobs added in September. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says don't jump to any conclusions. 80 degrees, partly cloudy in downtown Indianapolis. You don't have any rain to worry about when you check the radar. 59 is your low tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. You may have heard about a committee investigating sexual harassment claims in Indianapolis. One Hoosier political leader says you need to let the process unfold. Ryan Hedrick reports.
State Representative Ed Delaney ran against Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett nearly a decade ago, but he still wants to show some grace toward his political rival in the sexual harassment investigation involving Hogsett's office.
Because who's going to want to get in politics if the first time you trip up over some trivia,
you're in trouble.
Speaking to Indy Politics, Delaney says he wants to wait for a committee looking into these claims to finish its work before he makes any judgments. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Even with school voucher money, Republican candidate for Governor Mike Braun says parents need to be allowed to send their kids to whatever school they'd like, whether it's public or private.
We are a state that has been on the leading edge to where we're putting the parent as the main stakeholder in his or her kid's education.
Braun in a debate with Wish TV. Democrat Jennifer McCormick said public money should only be going to public schools. You may have heard about someone using smart glasses to try and record a Delphi murders court hearing. Independent content creator Christiana Stewart says she was the one behind those glasses, but she never tried to record a thing.
They weren't on. I had no cellular device on my persons to make them run, because you have to have your cellular device with an application for them to run.
She was not punished by the court for bringing those glasses. Despite that, those glasses are now on the banned list, something you can't bring in any of these courtrooms. Stewart believes the transparency of the court is a far greater issue than the frames. The trial of Richard Allen begins October 14th. You may have heard of Keanu Reeves, seen him in movies like Point Break, The Matrix, John Wick, and more. But this weekend, he's going to be competing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sasha Nixon to tell you more about it.
The actor, musician, and racing enthusiast will be driving a GR86 in a Toyota Gazoo Racing North America GR Cup event. All drivers will operate the same model of car, and Reeves will have the number 92. He previously won the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach Celebrity Race in 2009. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Traffic and weather in about 60 seconds. It's 5:04.
Lynn just hates painting in the fall, so she called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint, it's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came, and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time, we had the roof done as well.
Formulated for our specific climate here in Indy and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty.
We truly believe in this product.
Now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers. Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, northeast side of Lawrence, southbound 465, a stall before Fawn Creek in the left lane, causing stop-and-go traffic back to Westfield Boulevard. 42-minute delay making that trip before Westfield to Fawn Creek. Southbound 65 stop-and-go, MLK to the north split. Eastbound 70 crash in the south split. I'm told it's out of the ramp lane, but we still have slow traffic all the way back to Holt Road. Southwest side, southbound 465 stop-and-go traffic from Sam Jones to Man Road. Crash cleanup continues on the south side. This is West Street, north of Raymond, under a bridge at the railroad tracks. Avoid West Street if you can. Looking at a crash on the east side, 56 at Emerson Way. Northwest side, somebody got hit by cars, 86 at Georgetown Road. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance Shop. Grand Appliance for expert advice. Thousands of in-stock appliance options, fast delivery, and professional installation. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand Appliance showroom. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thank you, Matt. And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This Friday evening, skies are going to be partly cloudy with temperatures dropping to the mid-50s overnight. A light breeze out of the northeast at 5-10 miles per hour. Saturday also looks like a couple clouds will be around with a high temperature around 82 in the afternoon. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with his very special guest on the hotline.
He is the Attorney General for the great state of Indiana. Todd Rokita joins us. We got a number of different things we wanted to get your opinion on, but let's start with this Act Blue effort. Now, explain what the Act Blue effort is. I know you're doing this with, I think it's the Attorney General from Iowa. Break this down for me.
Yeah, we got a couple things going on, guys, and thanks for having me. So Act Blue is a vehicle by which if you're a liberal activist donor or even more left, you could use Act Blue to send in one donation, and it kind of filters out to several candidates that think like you do. All that is fine. The Republicans have a similar app or program called Win Red. But what we've discovered is, at least anecdotally, is that huge donations are being put into Act Blue and made in the name of various people who may have along the line given a little bit to Act Blue, $5, $10. It's usually meant for lower dollar donations. And their names are being used instead to diffuse and break up very large donations being made by one person. That's illegal. That's what we call giving in the name of another. It's a felony, and so we're looking into whether or not this has occurred, both at a national level and at a state level.
Is this like a big deal? Because I got to be honest, I don't know the ins and outs of political donation law and that type of thing. Is this really something that can change an election?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they say that money is needed in politics. It's the mother's milk, so to speak. I'm not sure it's all that, but yeah, I mean, as a candidate myself, you can't run these races without having a good financial support. Lately, some candidates have decided to fund their own campaigns because they're multimillionaires or whatever they are. But there's many traditional candidates like myself and many others that rely on the financial support of donors to do this. And a lot of those donors do give $5 or $10 or $100, $250 at a time. And so to have one donor, then a multimillionaire or organization, put millions of dollars and then funnel it through a situation like Act Blue that diffuses it, not only diffuses it, but puts it in the name of other individuals is highly problematic. It's definitely needed, because money is definitely needed in politics, but you got to do it the right way. And some states have limits. Indiana has corporate limits, and so this gets around all those limits as well. And so what it basically comes down to is you're cheating.
Attorney General Todd Rokita is our guest here on the Hammer and Nigel show. All right, speaking of campaigns and all things that go into that, you're doing a debate coming up. You're running for re-election. You have an opponent, Destiny Wells. You guys are going to have a little debate coming up, right?
Oh, it's going to be fun. Yeah, debate coming up. I can't wait. And, I finally get to, all these accusations that she's made that are completely unfounded, we get to finally talk about, and I get to confront her with. But more importantly, the Hoosiers are going to be able to see the very stark policy differences between us, and I might get what I'm excited about most.
I'm glad you bring that up, because that's something we've talked about on the show before. I hear Destiny Wells talking all the time about how she wants to change this and abortion this, abortion that. That's not your job, and that's what she's running for.
I know, it's amazing. I think after the debate, she'll be able to apply for continuing legal education credits.
What are some of the major, when you talk about policy differences between you and your opponent, what is one of the main things that sticks out on the top of your mind?
Oh my gosh, I don't know where to start. I mean, frankly, I'm not paying so much attention to what she's saying. I'm just doing the job, sure. And the job requires you to be the state's attorney, meaning that, even if you don't like a state statute, and I like most of them, but even if you don't, you still have to defend it. That's your legal duty. We're going to talk about medical privacy and what it really means, and how, doctors can't go and be talking about their patients at cocktail parties or the Indianapolis Star, which has occurred, and that needs to be respected. We're going to talk about the fact that, her and her party, my Lord, they're responsible for all this inflation. But by putting all this money, printing all this money, putting it on the street, and driving up the cost of fuel, I have lawsuits going on that stop this Green New Deal, that respect all sources of fuel, because that brings down prices, that helps transportation, that does so many things. And we're doing all that in the Attorney General's office, including fighting back against illegal immigration and this crisis that Harris and Biden have caused at the border. Right. And so you have a state attorney general taking that on because of the damage it's caused to Hoosiers. And it's her and her party that have all these radical positions that want to do the exact opposite. And, that's why I'm hopeful and thankful that President Trump has endorsed me and I've endorsed him. We're trying to bring some sanity back, not only to this country, but to protect the people of Indiana.
Attorney General Todd Rokita with us. Another thing that I am excited about, and maybe excited isn't the right word, but I'm passionate about it, is that executions for some of these scumbags are coming back to Indiana. I know the Fort Wayne killer, he is first on the list, but I think it was just last week you met with the Supreme Court, or you encouraged the Supreme Court to set a date for Benjamin Ritchie. Now, this one is close to me because that was the killer of the police officer in my hometown, and I know people that loved Officer Tony. I'm friends with his widow, so I'm very passionate about this. This guy is one of the biggest scumbags on the planet, completely out of appeals, and he has been for a long time. Why all of a sudden now are we getting back to executions?
Well, it's part of this woke corporate culture that we've had, and the precursor to that was probably these pharmaceutical companies who would not give Indiana the necessary cocktail of drugs needed to affect our executions. Right, so there has been a way blessed by the United States Supreme Court to put people to death, the ultimate justice for the terrible crime they committed, including the one in your hometown. And so we had corporations refusing to sell the state of Indiana the drugs so that we could carry out justice. And so finally, I've been pushing the Department of Corrections, and Governor Holcomb has done the right thing, and we found a way to do these executions without the cocktail anymore, just a singular drug, and we've been able to secure that drug. And so as soon as I have that information in hand, and again, working with the governor, we started these executions again. Again, not because we're mean people or anything like that, because these people did very bad things, the ultimate bad things in this case to a police officer, and that should never be tolerated in our society. We're either a society of laws or we're not, and what we're doing here in a very humane way is showing that we are going to effectuate justice, including the ultimate justice, when it's required.
Is there any timeline about when the Supreme Court may come back with some dates for the people that you've requested?
Yeah. Yes, in short order, and the first one, the first execution I've requested, it's moving along as we've expected and as we planned. So I knock on wood, I'm not sensing any hiccups there, and that should pave for this cop killer from your hometown.
Attorney General Todd Rokita. Last thing here before we let you go. Your euchre partner, Rob Kendall, and I, we've been talking about this, and we've got a challenge for you with this upcoming debate that you have with Destiny Wells.
Oh, no.
If you, on the debate stage, call her an on-demand abortion advocate, Rob and I will buy pizza and beer for your entire office.
Well, I've pretty much got that as you won already, so I'll probably get another disciplinary complaint for it, but we'll deal with that separately. But a bet's a bet.
Attorney General Todd Rokita, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
All right, the stall cleared in Lawrence, southbound 465 at Fall Creek. Still slow back to Allisonville Road, then jam to Westfield Boulevard. North side, westbound 465, stop and go from Meridian 31 past Michigan Road. That is a work zone with the right lane closed until early Monday morning. Vehicle fire, 82nd at Craig Street. That is stopping East 82nd Street in those eastbound lanes. Crash, somebody might have been hit by a car here. 86 at Georgetown Road. Looking at downtown, southbound 65, stop and go into downtown before MLK to Meridian Penn. Eastbound 70 crash clear in the south split, still slow back to Holt Road. Pockets of slow on the south side. Eastbound 465 from Sam Jones over to I-65. And crash cleanup continues West Street north of Raymond. Underneath a railroad track bridge, a car struck a barricade. Avoid if you can. Traffic sponsored by LifeLock, the Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Updating your password is one way to help protect yourself, but for comprehensive identity theft protection, choose LifeLock. Start your 30-day free trial at lifelock.com/cybersafety. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
80 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. We'll play Are You Okay With This next.
Denny Smith here. The big fall sale at Sundown Gardens is still happening. Save 20 to 50% off trees and shrubs, 50% off herbaceous perennials and pottery. Take advantage of great fall planting weather and save 20 to 50% on trees now at Sundown Gardens. The nursery's full of great selections and the greenhouse is bursting with great local grown mums, pumpkins, and all your needs for fall decorating. Sundown Gardens is located at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com.
October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock is here to elevate your protection game. Using the same simple password across all your accounts, that's risky. While updating your passwords to be more unique is a good start, true peace of mind comes with LifeLock. LifeLock doesn't just alert you to suspicious activity, but monitors for more uses of your personal info and will fix identity theft issues that arise, guaranteed, or your money back. Secure your identity today with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Experience the captivating musical journey with Celtic Thunder in their brand new show, Odyssey. Join Damien McGinty, Emmett Cahill, Neil Byrne, and Ronan Scollard as they explore a fusion of traditional and contemporary Celtic music. A mix of great new songs and beloved fan favorites. In Odyssey, Celtic Thunder continues their musical evolution.
Thursday, October 10th at Old National Center. Get your seats now at livenation.com.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Tune in to the Absolute Retirement Planning Show.
When retirement comes about, we're now relying on what we have saved to meet those needs.
Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on 93 WIBC.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Are you really okay with this? Are you okay? Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah!
Hammer, CNN analyst Scott Jennings. He's been at CNN for the past 7 years or so, but he's really come on as of late as kind of a star, the Republican on their panel. He went off on the media's double standard of going after Trump and J.D. Vance, but not Kamala and old balls Tim Walz. Go ahead.
Okay, so everybody seems to be worried about J.D. Vance and
dishonesty or Donald Trump and dishonesty, I never hear the same concern about Harris and the lies that she tells about Trump, or in Walz himself, who gave the most disastrous response to a question about his own dishonesty about being in Tiananmen Square that I've ever heard in a debate. He also did the same thing with Dana Bash when questioned about dishonesty a couple of months ago. And effectively what he has said is, sorry, guys, I'm too dumb to tell the truth. I mean, he called himself a knucklehead. I have bad grammar. This is a guy who holds himself up to be a school teacher and a coach. Is that the life lesson he's giving the kids that are under his care? Hey, you can lie, and then you can just kind of slough it off as being, too dumb to tell the truth. I think we spend 99% of our time going down rabbit holes about Vance and Trump and honesty in campaigns, and we spend no time at all holding Walz and Harris to the same standard, and I don't understand it.
Are you okay with everything you just heard there?
So there are a couple different layers here, right? So we're going to go piece by piece.
All right.
Number one, as for what Scott Jennings had to say, yes, absolutely, I'm okay with this, and he's right. I mean, look at Kamala Harris and look at old balls Tim Walz.
Yes.
It's not like we're talking about rocket scientists here, right? But for whatever reason, they created this narrative that J.D. Vance is weird and Republicans are weird. I don't think I ever recall J.D. Vance doing a speech where he said that he was there at the Tiananmen Square demonstrations, or the children of the community being the children of the community. So he's absolutely right. Kamala and Walz have gotten a complete pass for being incompetent. The other thing that I'm okay with here, and I can't believe I'm going to give them some love, CNN actually has somebody that's a real Republican as their token Republican, right? So when MSNBC wants to say, well, we've got a Republican on our panel, they bring out Liz Cheney or they bring out Kinzinger or one of these little wieners. Somebody that's not really a conservative. Somebody that hates Donald Trump with the passion of a million fires. I'm not saying Scott Jennings is the biggest Trump fan in the world, but he stands up for the Republicans. He fights back. He makes good points.
And he's standing out on CNN, by the way.
Yes.
He's a standout.
Right.
For sure.
I mean, you could also say the same thing about Jessica Tarloff when she goes on The Five on Fox.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
It's her against Judge Jeanine and Jesse Waters and Gutfeld.
Yep.
You might not like what she has to say, but at least she's a real Democrat. Scott Jennings is a real Republican, unlike the fake ones that MSNBC tries to pull off.
Country music icon Garth Brooks denying assault accusations, claiming, quote, hush money demands from an accuser, and now Garth is countersuing his accuser. Brooks says, Garth Brooks says, like, he did it to defend himself against basically extortion. Are you okay with this?
I'm going to say that I'm okay with it right now. I know that may be a cop-out answer, but if he feels like there's been some sort of extortion plan, we've got to get all the information out there on the table. I don't know what happened. Did Garth Brooks rape a woman? Did he assault a woman? I have no idea. But he did put out this statement, quote, hush money, no matter how much or how little, is still hush money. In my mind, that means I am admitting to behavior I am incapable of. Ugly acts no human should ever do to another. We filed a suit against this person nearly a month ago to speak out against the extortion and the defamation of character. We filed it anonymously for the sake of the families of both sides. So Garth Brooks is now suing the accuser here. And again, for those who don't know the story, there's a woman claiming that Garth Brooks took her into a room.
Yeah, I think it was 2019 or something like that.
Number of years ago. It was supposed to be separate bedrooms. He booked just one bedroom. Next thing you know, there was aggressive behavior. And I think you know what I mean by that. So, again, let all the information come out. I'm all about the transparency. I mean, I think you guys know that by now, the way we talk about the Delphi trial. I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong, but I want all the information to be out there. I'm not one of these guys that says, believe all women, right? Trevor Bauer was in a situation where if you believed the
baseball
women,
player.
Right.
Right.
You were believing people who were full of crap. The Duke lacrosse players a number of years ago. If you believe all women, you'd be believing the people who are full of crap. Maybe Garth did it. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I don't want to judge that right now, but I'm all about the information being brought forth. With that being said, Nige, not trying to bring the show to a Debbie Downer. It's a Friday.
I understand.
It's a beer sample Friday. So let's do great moments in kind of Garth Brooks history.
Okay.
Let's go back to the summer of love, 2020.
Yes.
There was a lot going on.
I remember it fondly.
A little bit of riots, a little bit of COVID. It was a good time, right? Good times, rockin' oldies.
A little bit or a lot, yes.
So this was during the COVID phase where not everybody got as sick as others did.
Sure.
We put together a little Garth Brooks-inspired Hammer and Nigel Records theme for those who got COVID, but it wasn't really aggressive COVID.
Understand.
Blame it on the Chinese. We're all scared to sneeze. Looking up symptoms online. You can't smell your food. You can't taste your booze. But other than that, you're just fine. And I saw the surprise in Hogsett's eyes when you said you're doing quite good. He took a shot from his flask and yelled, "Put on your mask, or I'll lock you all down for good."
Oh, here we go.
'Cause I got friends with mild cases. No fever, no cough, just body aches, and they'll be okay.
Yeah!
Woo! In 14 days. Yeah, Fauci's advice changes week to week, but if he cancels Thanksgiving, he can kiss my butt cheeks, despite my friends with mild cases.
There it is!
Little flashback to the
Impressive.
summer of love right there. We got a special guest coming up next, Nige.
Yeah, Breitbart finance and economics editor John Carney going to break down the longshoreman strike. Would it have really crippled the economy if it had gone on, plus the VP debates and a lot more?
We got Beer Sample Friday coming up. We're going to kickstart the weekend.
Yes.
But first, we got Harrison Silcox with a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Trust the process, he says. 80 degrees with a few clouds above the circle. All clarity radar, low of 59 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 529. An Indianapolis City County Council committee's investigating sexual harassment claims against Mayor Joe Hogsett's office. State Representative Ed Delaney stresses the importance of allowing that committee to do its due diligence.
Because who's going to want to get in politics if the first time you trip up over some trivia, you're in trouble, okay? So,
talking with Indy Politics, Delaney says he doesn't think Hogsett should be fired. The U.S. is adding more jobs under President Biden, so says the president.
The nation has now created 16 million jobs since I've come to office, more jobs created in a single presidential term than any time in American history. Our GDP shows our economy grew at 10% under my administration. Unemployment reached the lowest level in 50 years.
Over 250,000 jobs were added to the economy last month. That's according to the Labor Department. While talking with voters in Detroit today, Vice President Kamala Harris says she's only going to be helping out the middle class.
I will always put the middle class and working families first. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from.
Harris also has another campaign stop in Flint, Michigan today. You may have heard about someone using smart glasses to try and record a Delphi murder's court hearing. Donnie Burgess reports the person involved wants to clear the air.
Independent content creator Christiana Stewart says her Ray-Ban glasses were never a concern.
They were not being used to record anyone. They were not being used to do any of that. I mean, at the end of the day, they're simply a pair of sunglasses. Literally.
She says she wasn't punished by the court or barred from the trial, but electronic eyeglasses have joined the list of banned items from the Delphi murders courtroom. Stewart says the real concern deserving your attention should be the court refusing to allow you any real access to the trial of Richard Allen, which begins October 14th. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And if you haven't heard already, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor ruled out of Sunday's game on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The team making that announcement this afternoon. If you're wondering about second-year quarterback Anthony Richardson, his status for game day has yet to be determined. You may remember last Sunday against the Steelers, he left early with what turned out to be a hip injury. He's been limited in practice this week, so you'll have to stay tuned at WIBC to see if he winds up playing when Sunday rolls around. With a look at the roads at 5:32, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, south side crash eastbound 465 between 31 and I-65, closer to 31. In fact, the right lane is closed. Traffic is stopped back to I-69 for an 18-minute delay. Also eastbound 465 on the south side, that's stop-and-go traffic before 70 to the White River. Inbound 65 still slow from the White River to Meridian Penn. East side northbound 465 stop-and-go after Penn Pike up to I-69. Inbound 69 stop-and-go traffic. 116th Street to 465. And a crash east side 56th Street at Emerson Way. Now a crash on the south side Carson Avenue at National. Traffic sponsored by B Window. This month only at bwindow.com. Receive $400 off per window and $250 per patio or entry door plus 2.99% financing. B Window, proud to be employee owned. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
This Friday evening, skies are going to be partly cloudy with temperatures dropping to the mid-50s overnight. A light breeze out of the northeast at 5-10 miles per hour. Saturday also looks like a couple clouds will be around with a high temperature around 82 in the afternoon. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. We'll go to the hotline. Bring on Breitbart News finance and economics editor John Carney. He is also the author of the daily newsletter, the Breitbart Business Digest. John, we'll start. Any number of places we could start. Just how convenient is the dock workers' strike? They've suspended the strike until January for further negotiations. What does this mean for the economy? What does it mean for a looming election?
Well, I'll tell you that the Harris campaign was absolutely in a panic. If the strike had lasted just into next week, next week is when the Department of Labor does the surveys where they calculate the jobs numbers for the month of October. That figure was about to come out on November 1st, the first Friday of the month, just 4 days ahead of Election Day. If the strike was still happening next week, there was a potential that we would get an awful jobs number on November 1st. So the Harris campaign and the Biden administration were going to do everything to make sure that the strike did not extend into next week. And we don't know exactly what happened behind closed doors. We do know that the labor leader was talking very tough right up until today. And suddenly there was a change and they could wait till January. They're no longer going to ruin the economy or cripple the economy. All of these things they were saying, they've now decided, oh, you know what? It's okay. We can wait till January, till after the election. That's very, very convenient. And as I said, look, it means that we had the potential that we would get actually a negative jobs number on November 1st, that we would have a job loss for October. Now that is almost certainly not going to happen, and that's because the longshoremen decided that they could delay their strike till January.
John, there were a lot of criticisms for the leader of the labor union for the longshoremen. He even had a little back and forth with Elon Musk on Twitter where Elon Musk pointed out, you have a bigger house than I do. Are those criticisms warranted?
I don't think so. Look, I don't know exactly, where this guy's wealth or, his house comes from. But what I will say is, I don't really see a problem if unions want to compensate the guy who they use to go up against the biggest, giant CEOs who are themselves very well compensated. If somebody is earning them money, just like we pay CEOs a lot of money because they return a lot of value for shareholders, a labor union boss who is elected to his position should also probably be compensated if he is doing a very good job for his union members. That's really up to the union. Just like I don't like second guessing how much a CEO is paid. That's up to the shareholders and the board. I'm not going to second guess what a union leader is paid.
Would a dock workers, and then we can move on to the last question on this, but would a dock workers strike at the ports there in the eastern United States, had it happened, what this guy was threatening, crippling the economy, would that have crippled the economy had this gone on?
No, it wouldn't have crippled the economy. I mean, look, our economy survived COVID. It hurt during the time it happened, but we survived that. It wouldn't have crippled the economy. It would have meant a lot of particularly perishable imports would suddenly vanish from our stores. We were actually seeing already a little bit of panic buying. Toilet paper was running out in stores. So there would have been some very inconvenient economic developments. But a lot of people were talking about like holiday shopping. Frankly, Santa's sleigh has already arrived. Yeah. All the toys that everybody was going to buy are already here. The warehouses are full. People do their holiday shopping starting in September now. This wasn't going to be a problem for holiday shopping, but it would have been a problem, as I said, for a lot of perishables and also for things that are components that go into things like building cars that get shipped into the United States. That also would have been a problem.
So, John, what you're telling me is that I didn't have to buy those 85 rolls of Charmin. That's what you're telling me.
I was in one of these big box stores, and I saw, people with pallets, stacked almost to the ceiling with toilet paper, paper towels. And I frankly went back this week, and there were none. It was gone.
And the stupid thing about that is they weren't coming from toilet paper is not coming from the ports. It's manufactured here in the United States and shipped out on trucks from Canada to the United States to Mexico. So it was kind of done.
Right. And we make a lot of it right here in the U.S.
Right.
And but one of the things is people wonder why do we run out of toilet paper? Well, the reason is there's no excess capacity. The demand for toilet paper is very steady and really just changes as the population rises. You need a little bit more. So if people rush out to buy things like toilet paper, suddenly there's not excess of it. So if somebody, if 10% of the population buys 20% more toilet paper, it'll disappear all of a sudden.
John, I hope this show, the Hammer and Nigel show, could sit here and literally talk to you about the economics of toilet paper for an hour straight, no commercial.
When you want to start the TP Talk newsletter, you let us know, and we will co-author that bad boy with you.
We're speaking with Breitbart News finance and economics editor John Carney. One of the headlines I'm seeing on a website, it's got a big picture of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris high-fiving. The headline all in red, boom, job growth surges, plus 254,000, unemployment rate falls. Hey, I want the economy to do well. Is it because of the Biden administration that this economy is? My point is, I always seem to see a spin on who is to be congratulated because of the great economy. What's going on? What are you seeing with these numbers?
Look, so this was a very good number. It was completely unexpected. The highest estimates coming from, the guys paid the big bucks to estimate these things was around 170,000 jobs. So this was a blowout number. And the one of the things to keep in mind, though, is that September is a very unusual month. It's a lot like January. Both in January and September, the economy actually always sheds jobs. So if you looked at the seasonally unadjusted numbers, we actually lost over 400,000 jobs in September. The reason for that is because you have a lot of summer jobs. Young people go back to school. So the amount of people on payrolls shrinks a lot every September. So there will be people who are like, aha, so it really wasn't that good. I want to push back on that a little, just say, yes, it really wasn't that good, but it's not some sort of like conspiracy. This happens every year. There is always a big adjustment in September. The adjustment maybe suspiciously always goes up a little bit in presidential election years, just a little bit. It's a little bit higher. And so what's happening is the Department of Labor is trying to smooth things out, say, look, we know that wasn't a catastrophe for the jobs. So what happened was usually it's expected to go down something like 600,000. This time it only runs down 400,000, so that nets out as over 200,000 job gain.
And, John, it feels like I've kind of seen this movie before, though, where the jobs report comes out, there's a big victory lap by the current administration, and then next month the revisions come out, and nobody talks about the revisions. The revisions never get the headline, but some of these revisions we've seen on jobs reports just this past year alone have been pretty damning.
Yes, look, there's been a big problem. It's very likely that this number will get revised down later on. There's been a big problem with trying to get the numbers right, particularly post-pandemic. The response rates from businesses have gone down a lot. They just aren't telling the government as much information as they used to. And it seems like it's just become harder to measure. So the revisions have been very large. The last year, they've tended to be downward revisions, although I will say this month's numbers revised up the August and July. So July if you remember, was a terrible number. It actually got revised up pretty decently. The August number was not great. It was okay, but it got revised up to a very good number. This number, 254,000, is probably going to come down. But we won't know that until well after the election. We may get a slight revision on November 1st. But this is what America will have in front of them as they go into the voting booth.
And last thing before we let you go, when we're talking about job growth, unemployment rates falling, does illegal immigration have a role to play in the numbers we're seeing?
Definitely. Look, illegal immigrants are counted in these numbers. Okay. So when you see 254,000, you do not know how many of those jobs went to illegal immigrants, legal immigrants, or current permanent residents, or people, U.S.-born people. So what I would say is, it is very possible that if you are letting in a lot of people, that a very high percentage of these jobs are actually going to border crossers. We can't know this from the data that we're presented here. It's not broken out that way. Some of the other employment data is, but they're not directly comparable. So this 254,000, we have literally no idea how many of those went to U.S. citizens versus immigrants, legal or illegal.
Where can people subscribe to the Breitbart Business Daily Digest newsletter?
I am so glad you asked. It's up on the right-hand corner. You can Breitbart.com. You can click on newsletters. There's a whole bunch of them there. Breitbart Business Digest is one of them. They're free. You get them in your inbox every day. And we work really hard on them. And if you're really curious about this 254,000 number, click on it. You're going to get a really good description of what really went on with the employment data in September.
John, you're one of the best. That's John Carney, Breitbart Finance and Economics Editor. Find his work, Breitbart.com. Have a great weekend, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, you too.
Big Nige, the calendar has flipped to October.
Ooh.
And I've got a little October-themed beverage for us.
An October surprise, if you will?
A little October surprise.
I'll take it.
Beer Sample Friday. We kickstart the weekend next.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. Recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics. especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his trillion-dollar spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock is here to elevate your protection game. Using the same simple password across all your accounts, that's risky. While updating your passwords to be more unique is a good start, true peace of mind comes with LifeLock. LifeLock doesn't just alert you to suspicious activity, but monitors for more uses of your personal info and will fix identity theft issues that arise, guaranteed, or your money back. Secure your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Mecum Auctions is back at the Indiana State Fairgrounds today through Saturday with 1,000 muscle cars, classics, Corvettes, trucks, and more. Register to bid and buy. Spectacular tickets at Mecum.com.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
Oh, it's Friday, Matt Baer. We're getting ready to kickstart the weekend. We got Beer Sample Friday coming up. We got Friday Night Lights, football games. People are going to tailgates. Let's get them where they need to be.
All right, Hammer, north side, westbound 465, stop and go traffic, Meridian past Michigan. That's a construction zone blocking the right lane until early Monday morning, we hope. Inbound 65, stop and go from the White River to Meridian pad. Eastbound 70 slowing from Tibbs Avenue to Meridian, Illinois. South side crash, eastbound 465 after 31, stop and go in parts back to Kentucky Avenue. Crash south side, Carson Avenue and National Avenue, vehicle fire reported on the north side, 82nd and Craig. Traffic sponsored by B Window. This month only at bwindow.com. Receive $400 off per window and $250 per patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing. B Window, proud to be employee owned. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
81 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, and it's Beer Sample Friday.
Hello! Right now.
Hammer and Nigel present Beer Sample
Fry.
I got some beers. Let's drink them, huh?
Beers on sale, people. Come down, get you some.
Brought to you by our friends down at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
C-Bus.
Hammer provided the libations this time around.
So every once in a while, we try to make things topical, right? Sometimes we try beers we've never had before. Sometimes bar owners or providers bring us up something.
Yep.
But every once in a while, we try to make something topical. And I thought, you know what? With the calendar flipping from September to October, this would be the perfect time for
Oktoberfest. Oh, Lagertown from Half Acre.
even though some Oktoberfests take place in September, which is kind of like that whole thing of why we drive in a parkway and park in a driveway. Screw it. It's October.
Half-acre Chicago brewer that I associate mostly with Daisy Cutter, their main pale ale. That's their most popular.
Wasn't she part of the Chicks on the Right?
Yes, she was.
There was
Daisy
Mock
Cutter.
and there was Daisy Cutter.
But thank you for providing the libations this time around.
To the weekend, everybody. Cheers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Beer is good.
Oh, man, that's
you want a hot take from me? Good. There you go. Beer is good. Cold beer.
$1 billion from seasonal beers, including pumpkin beers and seasonal Oktoberfest beers. That's what that brings in this time of year.
Are you a pumpkin drinker, whether it's the spice or the lattes or the beers?
The beers. Not the spices and the lattes, but the beers.
So let's say you get done with a heated workout at Exercise Inc.
Right.
The hardest 20 minutes of your life that'll make you feel better.
Yes.
Do you crack open a pumpkin beer or do you get something else? Like, is the pumpkin beer more of a dessert beer? Is what I'm asking.
I'm getting a tequila. I'm getting something like that after that workout for sure.
All I know is that the weekend is underway here in Indianapolis.
Thank you for providing this week, man.
You got it, man. You got it. We have got another hour to go. Hang out with your favorite afternoon radio pals with the Hammer and Nigel show. We're coming up next.
JMV here. The big fall sale at Miss M's Home and Garden is still happening. Save 20 to 50% off. Trees and shrubs, 50% off. Herbaceous perennials, 30% off. In-stock patio furniture and more. Not only is the fall sale happening, but they have a great selection of local grown mums, pumpkins, and all your decorating needs. Take advantage of great planting weather and save right now at Miss M's. That is Miss M's on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
I want a doll, a bike, and a new puppy.
Kids don't always ask for what they need. Give the littlest Hoosiers in your life a gift that starts today and will last forever. The gift of education. An Indiana 529 plan provides education savings for tomorrow while you enjoy generous tax benefits today. There are flexible investment options and a convenient mobile app. Get started with as little as $10 at myindiana529.com. Read the disclosure booklet carefully before investing. Sponsored by Indiana 529.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60-plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV, and there are no